They might be the number one. If you had to tell a secret to any population, I feel like Italy might be up there.
We will not tell nobody.
I say nothing. I see nothing.
I see your mother. I do not say.
I say nothing. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just a cobbler.
It's a me, a Mario.
I just make the suits. I know nothing.
Wait, but now he's a tailor.
Yeah, I do both.
Ah.
Yeah, you stitch the wool, you stitch the leather. My uncle, he a cobbler. He taught me. My mom, she a tailor. I learn them both.
See.
I learn them both. Now we not talking about the bad thing I do anymore. See? It's that simple. It's an old Italian trick. I trick you. Welcome back to Macrodosing. It is Thursday. It's November 14th. We got the whole gang here. Arian, Big T, Mad Dog, McKenzie in the booth. And I'm excited to be back. Sorry that I missed Tuesday's show, guys. I apologize. I was under the weather, dealing with either cold or a flu. Don't know what was going on, but just spent the entire day on the couch asleep. So I apologize for that. Hand up. Best ability is availability.
Welcome back, man.
Thank you. Did you guys talk shit?
Yeah, I did.
I bet you did. What'd you say? Say it to my face.
I talk shit while you here.
Say it to my face via teleconference.
You fucking Morador traveling.
I think it's only 2 syllables. I think it's just Mordor.
It's more. It's not
issuing a
Morador.
moratorium?
I've never read or seen those books / films, but I believe it's a 2-syllable word.
You sound like an Italian guy claiming that you need bigger hinges on the front of your church.
Morador.
Morador. Okay. Morador.
Moradora.
Morador.
That's when you want to watch another episode of a Nick Jr. show.
Moradora. But Moradora, she's so funny. She's so funny on her little adventures.
Oh my God, dog. Have you seen I think we all should take about
The clip
a minute
of Dora.
if you have not seen this song.
Oh, never mind.
It's this dude on TikTok. It's his brother who made this song about Mario and about don't save the princess. Y'all haven't seen this?
No.
Okay, just please. Just 1 minute break from the pod as I send this to the group chat.
Now, I'm not a huge Nintendo guy. Is that accepted lore that Princess Peach is kind of...
No.
Accepted lore.
Koopa is the
Canon,
bad guy.
is that what the kids are saying?
I mean,
Canon, yeah.
I mean, there isn't really a great explanation now that I'm thinking about it. That's not the first skit I've seen where Luigi is like, "Hey fam, like why is she always over there? Like how does she keep getting kidnapped by Koopa? Every level, dog. Every level." I don't know how she keep going to Koopa's house and Mario got to come get her every day. Actually, I want to look that up.
Yeah, it's kind of strange, isn't it? Oh, wait, are we blaming Princess Peach? Why is she wearing that dress? She knows turtles like that dress. She got the turtle booty. Then she's like, "Oh no, I didn't mean to go over here. I was kidnapped." Mm-hmm. Sounds
That's what they all
historically
said.
accurate. Yeah, it's interesting, man. Mario, what is the background of? They're just plumbers who are brothers, but they also exist in a different universe that also has toilets.
I guess
Oh,
so.
yeah.
Well, so I've seen about the first 10 minutes of the Mario movie, and they live in like Brooklyn, but then they go into the sewers or something, and then they pop into Mario World. I think that's based off me half watching the first 5 to 10 minutes.
They
of the
slide
film.
down a pipe and then they end up in a different universe.
Yeah,
It sounds like an allegory for crack.
Could be.
And they see little mushrooms jumping around everywhere.
Oh, it says
That makes you bigger.
Mario's infancy, in which he was transported by a stork to the Mushroom Kingdom, was first depicted in Super Mario World 2.
And
But-
they're Italians in New York.
Wait. So it debuted in Super Mario World 2?
I guess.
So
I think that's where his lore drop came in.
So the original was just like, okay, it's Italians,
In Brooklyn.
but they don't exist in the real world.
But then people had questions.
It's Italians in space.
Right.
Yeah, it's Star Wars for Guidos.
Oh wow, he said that
I have a
Mario's physical age is 24 to 25.
That's it?
That's crazy.
I mean, he's a plumber, so he has a job.
I guess.
How old would you think that Mario was if you were to just, based on what you've seen of him?
11.
Y'all about to?
Oh, I was going to say like
No,
50.
yeah.
He's got a mustache.
I would have said like 10.
But he has a cherub-like demeanor.
He does. He's got a cherub-like demeanor.
I was going to say 50.
Yeah, I would say like 40s.
He's an adult man.
Yeah.
He's saving.
No, that's your
Princess
that's your
Peach.
age showing there, PFT. You feel like he's older because when he was introduced to you, he was older.
You know what? I go through that frequently with Seinfeld.
How old is?
Oh,
how old
they
are they in
young?
Seinfeld?
I want to say that they're in their early 30s in Seinfeld.
I would say late 20s, early 30s. I never really watched the show, but you know what I mean. Friends, I know they're like 26, 27.
I don't
something
like
like
that fact.
Yeah, with Seinfeld, those guys, they're always older than I am. George Costanza will
Yeah.
never be younger than me.
Yeah.
You've got a year or two left until there are no professional athletes older than you.
Jesus,
That's
big
know.
so
T.
mean.
Well, LeBron
holding on though. LeBron
Yeah,
doing
it's
his
true.
thing.
LeBron's
Well,
really
but in a year or two,
LeBron's keeping me young because LeBron is I think he's 1 month older than me.
you're 39.
Yeah.
Because he's on December 30th.
Because there's always a pitcher that's playing until they're 42.
Yeah,
So
there
you've
usually
got
is.
you've got probably 3 more.
And at that point there's no representation for me
Right.
in sports anymore.
Right?
All my I'll no longer believe that I can do it one day.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what fucked me up the other day was I was thinking about Asante Samuel Jr. because he hasn't been doing much recently, right? And how weird that was when Asante Samuel Jr. was drafted in the NFL. You want to talk about making me feel old is going to be when Asante Samuel Jr. is no longer playing football.
Yeah.
I'm sure, I don't know, I haven't watched the tape on ASJ, but he hasn't been on the field much recently. I'm sure he'll stick around. I'm sure he's still a good player. But when that time comes, if it's in the next couple of years where he like steps away from the NFL, that's going to fuck me up bad.
You've got Marvin Harrison Jr. for the next 15 years, though.
That's true. Also, Larry Fitzgerald hasn't technically retired yet.
He hadn't submitted the papers.
I don't know. He never even announced anything.
I don't think Adrian Peterson did either, though. I don't ever remember him saying I retired.
Did you officially retire?
Yeah, I walked away during the season.
Tell me about that.
I thought I told the story. Maybe I didn't. I was playing for Miami, and I remember when I was a kid, my dad always used to say, I used to ask him, I was like, when did you know you like to walk away from the game? That was the kind of questions I was asking him as a child, weird ass nigga. But he was like, you'll know when you know. And he would always say that. He's like, you'll know when you know. And I was playing for Miami, and we was playing the Cleveland Browns. And I was on the sidelines, and I was looking up in the stands. And at the time, I was reading this book by Brian Greene. It was a book about space and shit. And I was like infatuated with it. I couldn't wait to get home. And during the game, I just remember thinking like, I could not care less who wins this game. Couldn't care less. Like, I just want to go home and read my book. And that moment, I was like, I don't need to be playing football no more. I just don't need to. I don't need to be
I don't
here.
know how I feel about
And
the
so
Browns being in
then,
that.
Wait, did you win?
I don't even remember.
Probably.
Maybe
That was
Let's
16.
look that up.
2016. I don't even know.
Yeah, that was wasn't that our own 16 year?
I think it was.
Yeah.
The Dolphins won 30-24.
Yep.
In
There you go.
overtime.
Yeah.
It's
And-
a good
and
game.
So I was and so I don't even think I played that game actually. And so we after the game, I went to the coach, and I was like, I don't want to play no more.
I just want to read my
And he was
book.
like,
There were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players who recorded a carry for the Dolphins. You were not one of them.
How was the book? Did you finish it?
yeah. Yeah. I think it was called what was that Brian Greene book? Let's see.
Did you have post-book clarity after you finished, and you're like, "Fuck, I just retired from the NFL for this."
The
Now
hidden
what?
reality.
Yeah.
Fabric of the Cosmos. That's what it was. That was like when I started getting into science probably around like 2014, and so I would always like read a little stuff here and there. That book was like really dope to me. But I don't know. It just when you want to read a book more than you want to play football, you should probably hang it up.
Yeah.
And I don't play a position where I could like. I'm not like a backup quarterback where I could just hang around the team. Like if I get in and get a carry and my heart ain't in it, I could get really injured.
Yeah.
Or somebody else can really get injured, and it's just not worth it. What I love about Adam Gase and the Dolphins organization at the time, when I left all the homies was like they was tripping. But when I left, they could have took my signing bonus because I didn't finish out the year, which was I think it was like 700 grand or something. It wasn't crazy, but it's a great chunk of money. And they could have took that. They could have done a lot to me, but they was like, just keep it. I think they just appreciated, because when I went there, I worked. You know what I'm saying? Like I worked hard. And I kind of showed the younger guys how to work, how to be pros. And they ended up having a good year that year.
How many of the 6 guys in that game that recorded a carry can you name?
6?
6.
I don't know. I know it was Jay Ajayi.
He had 7.
Kenyon Drake.
He had 9.
Damian Williams.
He had 1.
Got it. Maybe Jarvis Landry.
Jarvis Landry had 2 carries.
Okay. Who's the quarterback? Ryan Tannehill.
There's one more. He was correct.
Fuck me.
I want to say this guy went to a
Kenny Stills?
No, it's a running back. He went to a school that is currently in the Big 12. Wasn't in the Big 12 when he went there.
That's a lot of running backs, G.
Colorado.
For, one game.
No.
I don't give
Arizona.
Give me a first letter.
I.
Iowa State.
Oh no, I is his first initial.
Isaiah.
Uh-huh.
He ended up breaking his leg. I think he severed his leg in a car wreck. Like the bottom half. Isaiah. Fuck. What's his name?
What'd you do when you woke up this morning?
I got some coffee.
All right,
Piss.
and then what?
Isaiah Piss.
You're close.
Isaiah P.
Peed.
Isaiah Peed.
Yeah. I didn't spend much time with him, but I think he ended up. Yeah, getting his
went
leg
to Cincinnati. Yeah, bad to hear that for him.
Yeah.
Wow. So you finished your book, and then you're happy with your decision?
Oh yeah. He said he was like, that's why I fuck with Adam Gates, bro. He was like, listen, take your time, take a few days, come back. If you still feel the same, we'll honor the decision.
I like that.
And I did that.
It's good branding for that book. This book will make you quit your job.
I would that'd be a good starting point to try to get him on the podcast. You're the reason why I'm no longer in the NFL, Brian Green.
Yeah. Slide in the DMs, BG. Do you guys ever have that post-book clarity or like post-book regret? Now, I haven't been much of a reader recently, but I used to read books. And when I did, I would get like really into the book that I was reading at the time. And I would get excited about it. And I couldn't wait to get back to it. Schedule time out. Got to read this book. And then you'd finish. And then you'd be like, now what? Like I'm no longer excited at all. I have no desire to sit down and read anything else. And then you just want to tell people about the book that you read. I guess that's what post-book clarity is.
That is a thing. That is a thing. You always want to.
It's like you're justifying all that time you put into reading that book.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. You're excited about it. It's like, what's that old saying? It's like when you're in love, you want to scream it to the world. If you're interested in a subject that you just read about, you want to tell everybody. Yeah.
Yeah. I got to tell you what, Macrodosians, let me know, what book should I be reading right now? I want to get back into reading.
I'm down to redo a nanodosing where we do a book, but it just got to be better than the book that we did.
Art of War?
That was one of the worst shits. That was such
Remember
a bad
we would just
book,
lie
bro.
every time saying we read it, and no one did.
And then it just got to the point where we were like, nobody's doing this shit, right? Like, we just all had to look each other in the eye and say, what the fuck are we doing?
There were so many different...
This is nonsense.
So many different things in that book about, like, make your enemy think that you suck when you really don't suck that much.
Yeah, it's a lot of the same.
Sun Tzu.
But it was just all like, oh yeah, I read it, and then I would like look up one passage because we all had to bring our favorite passage.
Yeah.
And so you would just open the book and be like, okay.
We tried, but I think we all gave it a go.
At first,
I never really gave it a go. Be honest with you.
I did, and I was like, yo, this book is ass. I'm not even gonna. It was not a good book to me.
Well, it was written how many hundreds of years ago?
I know all books suck back then, right, Big T?
Probably. Well, the Bible wasn't a book yet.
It's a collection of books. Yes, it was.
It was a collection of writings.
Books. It's the book of bang.
Yes, they're called books, but some of them were letters. They were different things.
Okay, man. Okay.
Written by God.
Depends how you define that, but yes.
Inspired
by God.
Oh yeah, you missed. We had a big religious talk. Oh, did you think about what you wanted to ask Jesus?
No, I didn't.
Bro, how were you in school, bro? What were your grades like?
Very good, but they like could have been impeccable if I applied myself harder.
Best and worst grade point average by Big T throughout your whole high school and college career.
I mean, high school I had a 4 point something, and then college
God
I
damn.
had like a 3.5 or so.
4 point something.
Why'd you go to Tennessee?
Wait, how can you have a 4-point?
AP
So
classes.
for AP classes and stuff, you get a bump. Why'd I go to Tennessee? Because I wanted to go to Tennessee and didn't have a ton of money to go elsewhere.
Answers the
Is Tennessee
question.
hard to get into?
Not when I went, but this year, this freshman class they have, like because the school has become kind of like so cool, the like freshman class went way up, and like it was way more competitive than when I went there.
It's funny how that works with sports. If your school's sports are good, then your academics get a lot better. It's way harder. Like JMU is much harder to get into than it was when I was in high school.
Bama became a much better school. Nick Saban made them hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars.
Saving lives.
Having nothing to do with football.
Saving lives, making the state smarter.
Yeah.
Does that work at LSU? I feel like Louisiana is the only state that gets dumber when they win a national championship because it's just like a 5-month bender.
Yeah,
I
don't know.
Listen, all love to Louisiana. I love Louisiana.
But part of
Yeah, I'm about to say you're the New Orleans like spokesman.
I'm going to Baton Rouge next Friday. I can't wait.
But part
You
of
doing gambling?
No, we're doing a pop punk concert at Fred's, which is one of the most magical places on earth. I love LSU. I love going there. I love the entire state, the people of Louisiana, some of the most friendly in the world. But they know it. When you guys win shit, you guys party for like the entire year. The year is a holiday. Like when the Saints win a Super Bowl, that entire year, write that off. Nothing's getting done.
part of this calculus also though is, and I'm potentially worried about this in the long term, is that a lot of these SEC schools are now getting way more kids from out of state, a lot from the Northeast that are coming in, and my culture is not your costume.
Watering it down.
If you go to a frat house in an SEC school now, they're all from New Jersey and Connecticut, and that could have some bad long-term ramifications.
It could.
And I'm watching that. I have my eye on
The
it.
children of New Jersey are corrupting the University of Tennessee.
Yes, every SEC school.
Yeah, outside agitators
Yeah.
being bussed in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was one year, like kids from my high school in upstate New York, like 7 people went to Alabama. Like it was so random, like out of nowhere.
Well, and Alabama or like SEC schools like that because then they pay out of state.
Yeah, that's true.
Half the New York office went to Alabama, and they were all from Connecticut.
True.
That's also true.
Carpetbaggers.
Well, Sean McDonald went there and he is Bama born, Bama bred.
Correct.
You mean Travi?
Travi.
They have special rules. I know at LSU they do, or they used to. I don't know if they still do or not. But if you got like above a 2.0 in high school, then you qualified for basically free admission to LSU.
Yeah.
What?
So, yeah, to try to have like an avenue for people born in Louisiana to go. And,
It can't be
it was
2.0.
It was something like that.
That's
yeah.
No.
I'll ask the Beeve because he was telling me about it when he went there. One of his roommates, I think, was a Louisiana guy
That's crazy.
that had like a 2.5 in high school.
That's nuts.
Yeah. Yeah, so speaking of Tennessee, got something big planned for next week.
Are you
With Big T.
announcing that right now?
But I'm just doing very cryptic announcements where people can definitely piece together the clues because I'm
Right.
saying them a lot.
Right.
Big T, are you excited?
I'm very excited.
I'm very excited too.
I hear the people in Tennessee are also very excited.
I did a little training yesterday.
You're-
Didn't go great.
You're going to get me killed.
Didn't go great. Well, okay, we can't say anything else. I might get Big T killed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in danger because of PFT.
Not just me.
True, but you're not helping.
I'm not helping much. I'm not a big man. What can I say?
Tuesday next week.
I'm excited.
When's that going to come out?
Don't know.
If you had to guess.
If I had to guess, probably a month.
Okay.
Yeah, probably a month. Takes a while to edit that.
For sure.
All right, that's enough. That's enough clues that we're giving right now. Today's episode is brought to you by our good friends at DraftKings. The Emirates NBA Cup is here. You can win big getting in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. All 30 teams are split into 6 groups for the Emirates NBA Cup. Every Tuesday and Friday, playing for the right to advance in the single elimination in-season tourney, culminating in the NBA Cup Championship in Vegas. We saw some of the games on Tuesday night. Get behind your favorite players and the prop bets you can make on DraftKings, the best place to bet NBA player props. I don't know if anybody had Miami last night, if they took Miami money line as one of their picks.
No, but I had Cade Cunningham triple-double, and he was at like 21, 9, and 7 or something, and they were going to go to double overtime. And then what you were going to say happened.
We had a Michigan.
Yeah.
That's the new Michigan. It's
Eric
not,
Spoelstra on my shit list forever.
It's not the wraparound goal that you see in hockey. That's no longer the Michigan. The Michigan is what Eric Spoelstra did last night.
Timeout when you don't have one.
With Jalen Rose in attendance.
That was nuts.
That was kind of crazy. Yeah, if you're ready to place your first bet, try betting on something simple like picking how many points your favorite player will have. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app, make your pick. I went 2 for 3 last night. Derek White had his over in points. Paul George had his over in rebounds. Pretty good bets. If it's your first time, we got something special for you. New DraftKings customers bet $5, get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Score big with DraftKings Sportsbook. Every point counts. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use code MACRO. That's code MACRO for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. We need to do some efficiency work here on Macrodosing. I feel like this podcast has gotten bloated, and we need to maybe appoint directors of efficiency, maybe co-directors of efficiency.
Dome.
Go on. What does that stand for?
What's the Doge stand for? Department of Macrodosing Efficiency.
Department of Macrodosing Efficiency. Dome. I like that. Let's get some dome.
Do you want to be the head of Dome?
I'll get domed up. Never going to complain about that. So Elon and Big T's guy Vivek are going to be co-chairs of the Department of Government Efficiency. Co-chairs, very efficient. Everything it's easier to get things done with 2 leaders.
Would you rather there be, like, if there was one head of it with 700 employees, would that be better than having 2 guys?
Are those my only options?
Well, no, but I'm saying, like, then everybody's like, oh, they have 2 chairs. Like, if there was one head with, if it was a bureaucratic organization with one singular head and then 900 employees all making $180,000 a year to do Lord knows what, that would be fine.
Yeah, everybody knows the buck stops here and also here.
Right.
It starts and ends with us.
Also, this isn't actually part of the government. Like, they're not going to be part of the cabinet.
Yeah.
This is just like a thing that exists outside of.
I think it might exist to sell merch.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I actually want to give Elon credit for something. He may have just pulled the most shrewd business move of all time. He owns so much stock in Tesla, right? They just gave him a new package not too long ago to try to keep him focused on working on Tesla. No distractions for Elon. So they gave him a bunch of stock. He's got, I don't know how much money he has in stock with Tesla, but it's in the billions. And he also paid a shitload of money, or he got a shitload of money in loans to buy Twitter and change it to X, right? And a lot of that was secured against his Tesla stock. So at any time, I guess with cause, some of the outside investors can demand that Elon liquidate some of the shares in Twitter, or excuse me, some of the shares in Tesla that he had to pay off the Twitter loans if Twitter isn't doing so well financially, which I don't think that it is doing great financially. I don't know. They have a lot of different metrics for it. I don't know how much money it's bringing in, I'll be honest. But the speculation is that Elon has owed, he owes his investors a bunch of money that would be most accessible through selling Tesla stock. Now, to sell Tesla stock, Elon would incur the capital gains tax, right? Capital
Okay.
gains, I don't know what it is at different brackets. I want to say it's between 35 and 45%, depending how long he's owned that stock for. It's somewhere in that neighborhood. So if he were to sell shares of Tesla, he would then owe like at least 35% of that to the government, which would be a fuckload of money. Like if you think about even a third of $1 billion, it's $333 million.
20%.
It's 20%, depending on how long. That's if you've owned
I'm
it.
just seeing that's like that's the highest income bracket.
If you've owned it for a long enough amount of time. I don't know how long he's owned the Tesla. Okay, so we'll say
It seems like 20 is the highest it goes, but I don't know.
We'll say 20%. So he would owe on every $1 billion $200 million. So what Elon, I think, has done is figured out a way for him to have to sell some of his Tesla stock because he's now heading up the Department of Government Efficiency. And it would be a conflict of interest if he's working for the government to own all the stock in outside businesses. So he could, in theory, I think, this might be bad legal take, but I think this is true. He could claim that he has to divest himself of these shares in outside companies if he's going to be working for the government and overseeing decisions that could impact his own company. Does that make sense?
Okay, well, two things. Number one, why is that? Why would he want to do that? But number two, I think that's why this isn't technically part of the government, so they don't have to do all the stuff like that.
Well, I think he could say that by doing this work for the government, he just hear me out on this, because I think it's a good business move on Elon's part, like a crazy good business move. He has to divest himself of his interest in these outside companies, so he's being forced to do it because he's working for or alongside the government. I don't think that he has to pay capital gains taxes if he's forced to sell the shares out of ethical reasons. So he could be saving himself hundreds of millions of dollars.
Where does that claim come from?
So when you work for the government, you can't have a conflict of interest,
Right.
And you can't oversee businesses that you also have a controlling interest.
But is that a thing that you don't have to pay capital gains tax?
I don't believe that you do. If you're forced, if it's I'm divesting myself because I'm working for the government. So he might have found a loophole where he gets to save hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars off selling shares of stock. Again, this might be a bad legal take. I'm not a financial expert. I'm not a legal expert. I am studying to pass the bar exam. But how that would be a genius move, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that would be. But I think I can't find anything on that particularly. And also, again, I don't think this is an advisory outside the government thing. Like, he's not technically working for the government.
Yeah.
So I don't know that would fly.
But I still think he could make the claim, like, I'm doing the ethical thing in selling my shares because I'm going to be working with the government, making decisions that would impact my holdings.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
The only people that would hate that would be the other shareholders out there, because if he dumped, I don't think that he can sell all of his shares at once. There's probably rules against that because it would just crater the stock.
Tesla's ripping right now.
It is ripping. But yeah, Department of Government Efficiency. So they're just going to be going through the list of the budget and being like, nope.
I hope so. I have some stats on the amount of money we waste. Would you like to hear them?
Okay.
The Congressional Budget Office revealed at least 1,264 federal programs and bureaus having expired authorizations, but which have still received $516 billion in funding for this fiscal year. The Government Accountability Office estimates the federal government wastes about $250 billion in taxpayer money a
I don't know
year.
what expired authorizations means, though.
I don't either.
Okay.
The Department of the Treasury reported $24.5 billion in unreconciled transactions in the past year, meaning it spent $25 billion on things that nobody knows what it is.
Again, I don't know what unreconciled transaction means.
You can deduce what that means.
Well, I know what that means based off vibes, but I don't know what it actually means in real life.
Okay.
Like, have they not sent back paperwork? Did they not get like enough signatures on an authorization? I don't know what it means.
Yeah, I don't know. We did $33 million in transgender monkey research. We did part of a $2.7 million grant to the NIH studying Russian cats walking on treadmills, things of that nature.
That rocks. We tried to train a cat one time. The CIA did this. We tried to train a cat to be a spy, where we like put microphones, and I don't know if there was a camera on the cat or whatever, but we put a microphone on it and tried to train it to go like walk around our enemies and overhear the conversations. Problem with that is you can't really train a cat. They don't really listen to commands. So when they let the cat out for the first time, it ran into the middle of the street, got hit by a car.
Nice.
True story.
I'm sending you a funny CIA meme I saw yesterday.
Okay.
Made me chuckle.
Also, per the Beeve in the LSU tuition thing, if you get a 3.0 or higher, it's free school.
That's nuts.
Yeah. But you need to stay in the state for a couple years afterwards, and you work in the state, or you have to pay it back.
That's an interesting wrinkle. I like that.
Yeah. So I was wrong, not 2.0.
Yeah, 2.0 would be insane.
Yeah.
I mean, that's barely passing.
Okay, I'm looking at this meme. CIA agent in 1964. Castro's in for the surprise of his life when he tries to sign something with my poison pen. CIA agents in 2024. There's a guy at the computer. At LibCrusher. The phrase working class is ableist and promotes eugenics because it positions disabled people and workers as enemies. It's a good meme.
Made me laugh.
It's good meme.
I'm sorry the same couldn't be said for you, but made me laugh.
I listen to a lot of CIA podcasts. I know.
Do you really?
I know the shit that they're up to.
There are CIA podcasts?
Former CIA agents.
Okay,
That's like a whole cottage industry right now. Is you get out of the CIA and then you become a podcast guest.
So I see a lot of clips on TikTok that I assume are from these podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Andrew Bustamante, John Kirikow.
I wouldn't know any of the names, but I do see the clips.
I've been trying to get John on the podcast. John would be a very interesting guy. He was in charge of a lot of shit in the Mideast. As far as CIA goes, he was an expert on Saddam Hussein. He was in the room when the conversations were happening about like invading Iraq, the WMDs, and then the torture. And then he went to prison for a few years, I think, because he was the whistleblower on CIA torture. And now he's a podcast guest. I think he might even have his own podcast. So John, I forget how you pronounce his name, Kirikou? John Kirikou, come on the podcast to discuss, please. I have a million questions for you. But yeah, they're pretty open now about some of the shit that they did. It honestly sounds like not nearly as... There are moments of excitement, but it doesn't sound like the James Bond type shit that you hear about.
Yeah, I mean, probably for the most part.
Yep. What else we want to get into today? We are going to be discussing Operation Gladio for all you CIA enthusiasts. And actually, mostly just like it's post-World War II counter-communist activities that were going on. Very, very fascinating story, actually. So we're going to get into that in a little bit. Looking at Big T's sheet that he sent over today, the Swifties are mad at a podcaster. I've heard this story before.
Yeah,
what did Travis not take out the trash?
Nice. They're coming after this guy who was talking about the Chiefs' 9-0 record and saying it's kind of, tenuous. And then his co-host said, "Well," and he picked the Bills to win this weekend against the Chiefs. And the other guy said, "Well, Taylor Swift's going to be there." And he basically said, "Who cares?" I think he said, "Throw her in Niagara Falls," or something.
Okay.
And people are not happy about that.
I mean,
not happy.
That's insane.
that's
thing
insane.
To say.
It's insane.
To say to throw her in Niagara Falls?
I mean,
I think he's saying like,
plenty of people have gone over Niagara Falls and survived. In a bucket.
Yeah, I don't think they were
or
thrown.
a barrel. That used to be a big thing. How can we stop doing that as a society? People used to just climb into a barrel and go over waterfalls. And everybody was like, damn, we did it again. Do you think, okay, fair or foul, to borrow a phrase, was that the mostly sports thing?
Maybe.
So we'll just say we'll say striker ball.
Yeah.
Striker ball. Taylor Swift should be thrown over Niagara Falls.
Which is the bad option here? Like, which is no, don't do that.
Ball, probably.
Ball?
Depends
That's
on
a
what
wild
perspective
pitch.
you're looking. That's a wild pitch?
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, it says that thousands of people have been swept over the falls, but only 16 have reportedly survived the feat.
She could do it.
Yeah.
She's one of one.
That is true. She can do anything.
It's honestly a little bit disrespectful of you to think that Taylor would not survive.
Right.
It's not that I think that she wouldn't survive.
You don't think a woman can do it?
No, actually the first person to survive was a woman, but it's crazy that he would say throw her. That's mean. I think Taylor Swift could walk on water if she needed to.
Okay.
But
I'm seeing a lot of quote tweets using the phrase "Tay voodoo."
yes,
These people are out of their minds.
Tay voodoo is what some may say happened to Zach Bryan as well. Tay voodoo.
Was he anti-Taylor?
Remember he made that tweet a couple weeks ago that said Kanye greater than Taylor?
No, I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Never heard of it.
It was like Eagles greater than Chiefs, and then
Kanye greater than Taylor.
Okay.
She will get her revenge. You freak.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna have to bet on the Chiefs then. I don't want to, but
What's that line? Bill's got to be favored, right?
I'm gonna guess Bills -2.
Whose line is it anyway?
I don't know. I haven't looked at the lines yet. But knowing that you've gone and incurred the wrath of Taylor Swift, that changes everything. Also, the Chiefs just win.
I can get you Chiefs money line +110. Also, it is too.
Okay. I know ball.
That's Tay voodoo. That's also, I believe, what happened with Patrick Mahomes' ankle. Tay voodoo.
Oh yeah, it was broken.
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
Then all of a sudden he was good.
Yeah. Who else recently fucked with her? And then there's been a couple examples in the recent months of like someone being mean about Taylor Swift and then having their lives ruined shortly after.
I just want to get on the good side of the Swifties.
You are.
I am?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
There was a moment where I
Oh well,
Yeah,
actually. Well,
where I wasn't, but I was like an accomplice to it.
you were an accomplice to it. That is for sure.
I lucked out because I said some bad things too, but it was overshadowed by how far Big Cat went with the joke.
Yeah, that is true. You were an accomplice to some Taylor Swift crimes.
But you know what? You learn and you evolve.
Mm-hmm.
Much like Miss Swift has evolved as an artist.
Mm-hmm.
And I respect all of her artistic decision making.
Yeah.
I have evolved as an artist as well in the podcast.
Exactly.
And I think that Taylor Swift is perfect and that she can do no harm and that she's a brilliant, I'm not even going to say songwriter. I'm going to say she's a brilliant human. Yeah. One of the all-time human beings. Mm-hmm. How about that?
I like that.
And I respect the I almost said witchcraft. That's the wrong word.
No,
I respect the passion of her audience.
Yeah.
And I think that they, as a collective, contribute. Passion of their audience.
Passion of the audience.
And as a collective, their vibes are so powerful that they can enact change in the real world.
Yeah.
I got to say, some of the replies I'm seeing to this guy, infinitely worse than what he said. But many magnitudes worse.
Give me an example.
The hairline screams elevated estrogen. This guy's micro penis is clearly why he's frustrated. Cry harder.
Don't sexualize this guy.
This one said, "Oh, sorry, you're a complete loser with a rotten tomato face."
They're creative.
I also like Big T's framing of this in the sheet that he sends out before every podcast. He, embeds the news story and then he gives it a title. He said the Swifties are coming after a podcaster who dared to express anything but adoration for Taylor. And then the actual content was him saying that she should be thrown into Niagara Falls.
He was saying the guy was like, Taylor Swift's going to be there. He's, oh, who cares? Throw her in Niagara Falls. Like, it doesn't matter that she's there. He was not expressing that.
He doesn't
literally
actually want her.
Want to.
I would assume not. I'm not speaking for this guy. I don't care one way or the other about Taylor Swift. But from watching the clip, it seemed to be a throwaway comment.
Listen, throw her in. If she floats, then, like Mad Dog said, she could walk on water.
Now I know for sure Tay Voodoo is coming for the Bills.
Yes. Some would say that she's a witch.
You know who else got hit with Tay Voodoo recently is Dave Grohl. because he made those weird comments about her at the Foo Fighters concert, and then boom.
Listen, I love Taylor. Always have.
Yeah.
I actually think we should retire the name Taylor.
Hang it up in the rafters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody else gets it.
Has anyone done the think piece on Taylor Swift and therefore the Swifties supporting a potentially problematic team name and an organization?
I don't follow.
Because of the Chiefs?
The Chiefs?
I don't know if, like, Taylor Swift... Well, actually, she probably could change it if she wanted to. But I don't know if I don't know if
that would
not change.
That would be so funny.
That would be insane.
Bro.
That's what I'm rooting for. That would be so funny if they win another Super Bowl and she's like, actually, you guys need to change the logo, change the chant, change the team name, and then everyone would hate her.
Yeah, I don't know. Big T, I don't know if that think piece has been written.
I may need to take that up.
Yeah.
It sounds like the part you were born to play.
It could be.
Yep. What else we got on the sheet today? Somebody put shit in Alabama's kicker's shoes after the kick six.
Yeah, did you see that story?
No, go on, explain it.
The kick six in 2013 when they lost to Auburn. Apparently the next day the Alabama kicker went to put his cleats on for practice and someone had put shit in his shoe.
Is it an inside job? Someone inside the locker room?
Yeah. They never found out who it was.
That's not really fair for the kicker. How far was that field goal? It was like...
Well, I think he missed 2 or 3 field goals in the game, too. But yeah, I don't know. It was a weak sheet today. There wasn't a ton.
Not a lot.
Did you see the clip of Kamala and Jill the other day?
I did. So this has become... tell me this, Big T.
Mm-hmm.
Is it lore or is it the actual truth, do you think, that Joe Biden is happy that Trump got elected?
I don't know if Biden is happy, but I know Jill is.
It's become lore that, at least online, that somehow Biden is happy.
He's been smiling a lot.
He's a smiley guy.
Jill's happy though.
I think it's fair to say that Jill is not a massive fan any longer of Kamala.
She was wearing all red to go vote.
You really think that she voted for Trump?
Oh no, I don't think she voted for Trump, but I think she is happy Kamala lost.
I don't know. But I did see the T-man and the B-man shaking hands in the Oval Office.
Yep.
Peaceful transfer of power. Brought a tear to my eye.
Trump turned it over to him, now he's got to turn it back.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what makes you think she doesn't like that Kamala won? I'm curious because I have not been following
I think it's pretty well accepted that Jill was pushing very hard for Joe to not be kicked out, and I think she resents Kamala a great deal for that, and every interaction they've had publicly since has not been cordial.
That's interesting because the talk within the DNC is that they were pushing Joe to leave, and they were going to have Pelosi wanted to have a primary.
Yeah, I saw this as well.
And Joe Biden, to spite them, endorsed Kamala fast, so that it made it look like that's what everybody was going with. And since he endorsed her as a sitting president, that's what everybody ran with. So it was like a fuck you to the DNC for trying to push him out. So why would he endorse her if they didn't want her to run it? Why not endorse somebody that you wanted to? You know what I mean?
I think he and Jill were both very pissed off at what happened.
So why be mad at Kamala?
Well, I think Jill would have disliked whoever it was that ended up becoming the Democratic nominee. Like if it was Gavin Newsom, I think she'd have hated Gavin Newsom. But maybe also like.
But you endorsed her on your way out despite the DNC. So why endorse anybody?
Well, I think Biden did that to fuck them over. And then I think Jill could have just disliked her before that. I don't know. But I think Jill would, if it was Gavin Newsom, I think she'd have hated Gavin Newsom.
Yeah, I don't know. Don't make
I think they both were very upset at the whole process.
Yeah, so were we. Sit your old ass down.
Did you hear that Biden's internal polls before he dropped out had Trump getting 400 electoral votes?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Nuts.
So I saw that.
But again, that's it's negligence. If that is true, it's negligence on his part. Like silly
I
ass.
saw that, and my question was like, why didn't you guys say this 6 months ago? It was the Pod Save guys, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they said that. Why wasn't anybody talking about that 6 months ago?
I mean, I think that
8 months ago. Or
Well,
is
I
this,
don't
like,
know
post-
that Biden's people leaked that until now, but also, I mean, what good would that have done?
One thing I love is
Unless you're really trying to push, unless you're one of the people that's trying to push him out.
one thing that I love is post-election, you get the postmortems like you do in football when you get a coach fired, and then the Athletic writes a very long article about how dysfunctional things were before you go. Like the Urban Meyer was going around kicking kickers, and like all that shit. You get like all the worst stories about that coach that come out right after he's fired. You get that also from people on campaigns that lose, that are trying to find new jobs, trying to make it seem like they weren't the reason why they lost. And so they leak all this shit to the press that makes them look good and everybody else look bad.
There will be a book written about the last days of Biden and the Kamala campaign, and I can't wait to read it.
Yeah. I'm interested to see how it went down.
Pelosi went in there and whacked knees.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if Pelosi had as much power as you think that she had, because
I think it's been very well reported and accepted that Pelosi is the one that said, enough of this, you're done.
Well, she's been very critical of Joe not dropping out earlier. And she also said that she expected that there would be a primary after he dropped out, and there wasn't.
Right, but I think she's the one that finally got him to drop out.
It could be. And then they're like, okay, he'll drop out, but also we're not doing a primary. Because I think all the money that had been raised for Joe had to go to Harris legally.
It could only go to her.
Yeah,
correct.
or else they would have to like return it, or I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works.
Still ended up in debt.
Still ended up in debt. What else we got?
Yo, I usually hate this dude. No, I still do. I don't hate. Hate's a strong word. I don't really like this cat, but he does got me excited for this Friday. Mike Tyson and Jake Paul finna box, and I've never watched the Jake Paul fight because he's like the new age. The new age advertisement is just drama, right? But like, I love Mike Tyson. I love his philosophy. I love his transformation in life. I was a fan of him young. Like, I remember huddled around the TV with the whole neighborhood in the house. Everybody watching pay-per-view, watch Mike Tyson for 48 seconds after he knocking dudes out. Mike Tyson looks like he's having fun training again. And originally why he stepped away from boxing was that he just fell out of love with it. I think he was going through a lot of things psychologically, just internally, emotionally. He just was going through it. And he's come out on the other side. Like I say, he's like one of my favorite philosophers, because if you listen to him talk about his life and his ails, then you can see like his the growth that he's shown is very inspiring. And so he looks, I don't even say he's 50 years old. He doesn't look like he used to look, but I'm excited to see him box again when he's passionate about it, when he's having fun with it. I'm really excited to see that. So I'm looking forward to Friday against Jake Paul. Not really a fan of Buddy, but excited about the entire process that he's been going through.
Yeah. Tyson does look like he's pretty fierce in training. I have a feeling that this is going to play out where all of us that remember Mike Tyson, it like taps into our inner boomer that we have somewhere in us, where we're like, yeah, I can't wait to watch, the king, the guy that used to be able to knock people out with his very first punch. I can't wait to see him hit this young little whippersnapper, one of the Paul brothers, and just send that zoomer sailing through the mat. And then Paul's going to end up beating him because Paul is much younger and better cardio than him and has boxed recently. I feel like it's setting us like what generation? You're a millennial, Arian? Yeah. It's turning millennials into boomers very, very quickly.
Nah, I'm not delusional. I don't think that it's going to be some like 1-round knockout. I don't think that's ridiculous. I think that, like I said, I have no idea what's going to happen. Like, I don't think Jake Paul is a top tier boxer. I think he's a very good boxer. He's crafted himself into a very good boxer. But there's a reason why he doesn't fight actual boxers his size, his age, his rank, and his weight. There's a reason why he's not doing that. I mean, maybe he's building himself up to do that, but there's a reason why he hasn't thus far. And I think he's very skilled. I don't knock his skill set. I just hate I hate marketing nowadays for young cats. Like it's just how much drama can you muster online, and then they're like, you're a marketing genius. No, you cause shitstorms, and that is what advertising is nowadays. Which I don't mind. It's just it's not. I'm not a fan of that shit.
Mhm.
But I by no means think it's just gonna be a walk in the park for Mike, because like I said, Jake's a skilled boxer and he's young. But what I'm excited to see is not necessarily Mike Tyson box again, but that he loves the aspect of training. Because being a former athlete, what kind of alluding to what I was talking to earlier, I'm not like I fell out of love with the training aspect of it, with going to practice every day, working out, blah blah, eating correctly, yada yada. You fall out of love with that part, and that in turn affects your passion for performing. And so, but I know what it's like to be an athlete when you fall in love with the process. And I'm excited to see the outcome of that from Mike Tyson's perspective, because when you look at it from outsider's perspective, it looks like he's falling in love with the process. And that's what makes athletes great, is when you fall in love with the process.
So you think he's got a chance?
It's just no telling. I haven't seen Mike box in 20 years. You know what I mean? There's no telling. I know his power is pretty good still. He looks quick, especially for his age. He looks really quick. And so it's gonna be interesting how it's like, what didn't he used to say? Everybody got a plan till they get punched in the mouth. And so it's going to be interesting in how he's able to take a punch and how he's able to deliver it, and if Jake is able to take one of Mike's punches. So it's going to be interesting. I don't think it's going to be a walk in the park for either one of them.
I would put
honestly
Mike Tyson in his prime up against anybody that's ever existed.
I don't, man. Muhammad in his prime was nasty.
I think Mike would have rocked him.
I don't know, dog, because Muhammad boxed in the days where they were like 15 rounds.
Yeah.
And so his stamina was a little bit different, and I feel like his
defense,
his skill set was
his defense, like he could avoid him a little bit, tire him out.
His movement was insane, and Mike, that was his knock early on, was if he catches you, you're gonna drop. Like,
yeah,
this was an 18-year-old knocking out 29-year-olds in a prime, right? It's like if he catches you, you're gonna drop. And Ali had some of the sweetest feet of all time. So prime, I don't know, man. I might have to go with Muhammad.
Is that the question you would ask Jesus?
Nah, I wouldn't ask Jesus that.
What percentage real do we think this fight is going to be?
All of it.
Like, they're actually going out there for real boxing?
Yeah, they're going to box.
I know, but
why don't you think they're going to box?
I mean, I think they both got paid a lot of money to do this, and I think there could be an element of, let's
not hurt each
everyone
other.
Home for dinner.
I don't think Mike worked like that. Just for me,
well, not when he was 28.
Right. I mean,
he
was 30-something. That's just not how he worked. But even like if you listen to him now, I don't know how much you follow him at all, but like he just don't, his brain don't operate like that. Like his brain don't operate from my perspective. I can't judge a man's heart, but from my perspective, it's just like he goes all in. And why would you train this hard to put on?
No, listen. I hope Mike Tyson kills him. I hope Jake Paul dies in the ring. I think that'd be amazing to watch.
That's why.
But like, I just don't know that's gonna happen.
I mean, imagine the views it would do.
Oh,
Jake Paul would probably be like, okay, yeah, I hear you.
Yeah,
I hear you. Go out a legend. I do think that Mike Tyson, and again, this is from what Arian and I have seen over the course of his years, how his mentality works. He just snaps into absolute killer psycho mode. And it would be disappointing for me if Mike Tyson got in the ring and was like being cute and taking it easy, being like, okay, haha, good punch. Yeah, okay, all right, you won that round, good job. Like, that'd be disappointing for me. I want to see Mike. I want to see him snap.
There's one clip that leads me to believe that his mindset is gonna go back to what he was when he was not his. Like I said, he's not physically able to do things he used to do, but like his mindset, right? when Jake Paul was. It's on this little series. I haven't watched the series, but I saw the clip running around when Jake Paul said, you know, I'm gonna beat you, Mike. I got a lot of respect for you, but the game is mine now. That type of shit. And then Mike Tyson turned to the camera. He said, you know, the difference between me and him is he's a manufactured killer. Like he said, the media and the press, and he said they made him. He's manufactured. He said, me, I'm a natural born killer. He said, there's a difference. And that little tidbit, that's Mike right there. That's Mike. That's the clapping pigeons on the roof, Mike. That's what I want to see. You know what I'm saying? I want to see him. I'm excited. I'll be watching.
Tell me about it, because I don't think I'm going to watch.
I'll let
give
you.
Give me a blow by blow.
Why are you not interested in it?
No, I'm just busy on Friday night.
Oh, okay, got you.
Yeah.
What you got?
Going to a little charity function. Not to brag.
I mean, you're such a good guy.
Not to brag. Doing charity. You would hate this charity.
Yeah. I hate most charities.
You would
but
despise this charity.
What is it? It's for dogs, isn't it?
Dog thing.
the licking face conference.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Is Blake going?
Debated taking Blake. Decided to leave him home.
He's not ready for the bright lights?
Well, there's going to be a buffet. And Blake is tall enough to reach the buffet.
He's so tall.
He's a very well behaved dog, but you get him around like open trays of meat and food.
So he's not well behaved.
I just don't know. He's well behaved at the house.
Every man is faithful till you get him around some good looking women.
Yeah, until there's a buttery spread of mashed potatoes out there.
You know who Blake sounds like?
Yeah.
Sounds a lot like Joe Milton to me.
What do you
I
mean?
don't know how it doesn't in practice. He's amazing. I don't know how he doesn't do it in the game. He's very well behaved in practice.
Mm-hmm.
Has he played yet?
In the NFL, no, I don't.
Preseason.
Think so.
Yeah.
Just the preseason when he had that one play and all the Patriots fans flipped out.
I hope he's learning. I hope he's taking his time and understanding again. I'm still rooting for
I
him.
hope so too.
Yeah.
He's going to make a lot of money being a backup quarterback.
Love that.
It's one of the greatest jobs of all time.
You can read books. Johnny Moxon in Varsity Blues. He was reading Slaughterhouse-Five when he should have been reading his playbook on the sidelines.
Johnny Moxon.
Yeah. Playing football at West Canyon High School was the opportunity of your life, but I don't want your life. James Vanderbeek.
Nice.
Circa
Now
1990.
fire that fucking pigskin.
Yeah.
Never seen that movie.
Oh, Big T.
It's just one that slipped through the cracks for me.
Must watch.
Nah, you gotta get it
Must
up in the
watch.
crack, man.
Big T, you're going to love it.
It's
Watch
a must watch.
it. For you? Yes.
It's like you know, frat white boy like football lore. Like, love it. It's a great
Big
movie.
T, you have to watch it. I can't believe it. This is like they made this movie for Big T.
I will make an effort to watch it this weekend.
Make a priority.
All the stereotypes about like small town football are in there. Every single one.
Let's say
Your guy John Voight plays the coach.
Why is he my guy?
Just guess.
Right. If Friday Night Lights is a 10, what is this?
I haven't seen Friday Night.
Oh,
Okay, so
that's nuts.
So I think that this is more enjoyable than Friday Night Lights.
Really?
Yeah, because it's like it's not a super serious movie.
So is it a drama? Is it
No, it's like
comedy?
a comedy drama.
See,
I
that's
don't
not.
even know if I think there's funny parts, but it's not. I don't think it's written with the intent of being funny, other than like, well, I'll take it back. There are like characters meant to alleviate the seriousness of it.
Yeah. Okay, I would say it's a drama comedy, not a comedy drama.
Okay, I'll meet you halfway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Drama first, but it's got its share of lighthearted moments.
I'm gonna try to check it out.
Yeah.
The strip.
I don't think it's my favorite football movie of all time is Remember the Titans. Not Remember the Titans. I'm sorry. Any Given Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it touches that, but it's a good movie.
Yeah.
It's a fun.
The
movie.
Landing Strip is the name of the gentleman's club that they go to
Nice.
at one point, and that was the strip club right by the airport in Austin when I lived there. It's a real
Nice.
place. Landing Strip.
Any Given Sunday. Another one I've never seen the full thing.
Oh my God.
Oh,
I've seen 15-minute intervals.
You're more of a baseball movie guy.
I've seen every baseball movie many times. But
Yeah.
baseball has the best movies.
It does because
What about the program? Have you seen the program?
Never heard of it.
oh wow.
You've missed I would say the top 3 best football movies ever made.
Do you think baseball movies are so good because they make what can be a boring sport way more interesting? And then football, all the action's already there on the field, so you don't really need to see a movie about it.
I think the sports have an inherent quality about them that limits the kind of movie you can make. Like football, it's football. Like the movie has to fit that. Baseball has a romanticism about it that makes much better movies.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I don't know that I've seen a baseball.
Moneyball?
The Sandlot.
Have you seen Moneyball?
I don't think I've seen Moneyball.
Major League.
Fever Pitch?
That with
Greatest rom-com ever made.
Yep. Charlie Sheen?
Summer Catch.
Indians?
I've seen Major League then, yeah.
Trouble with the Curve.
Is that the one with Justin Timberlake?
Yes, that movie's so good.
So good.
Fever Pitches. I was
that one
actually
either.
looking through old Macrodosing clips yesterday for something, and one of the clips came up about Big T talking about how he could recite 90% of Fever Pitch, like the dialogue.
More than 90%. I would venture that there is not a scene in that movie that I can't get. I mean, pretty damn close.
If you love me enough to give away your tickets, I love you enough to not let.
If you love me enough to sell your
your
tickets,
tickets.
I love you enough not to let you.
Have you seen?
Well, actually.
Have you seen Bull Durham?
No.
I'm actually not very high on Bull Durham. It doesn't do it for me.
Mr. 3000.
That's
That's
a good movie.
Bernie Mac. Yeah, I've seen that one.
Okay.
Rookie, what is it?
Rookie of the Year.
Rookie of the Year. That's my favorite baseball movie I've ever
It's a
seen.
good one. Little Big League,
Yeah.
also good. I think I was like back-to-back years where movies about
Yep.
12-year-olds participated in Major League
And
Baseball.
the mom from Little Big League's son in real life is Pete Crow Armstrong, who plays for the Cubs.
Yep.
What's the one with Dennis Quaid?
Rookie of the Year.
Rookie of the Year. Oh, Angels in the Outfield.
Or no, The Rookie.
Rookie.
The
The
Rookie,
Rookie.
Oh, okay.
not Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
A movie a lot of people don't like, I love.
Angels in the Outfield.
It's
too.
such a dark story when you think about it.
Yeah.
A kid, his dad, just a complete deadbeat, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll come back and be your dad again if the Angels win the pennant
Yeah.
because they're so bad."
When are you coming back, Dad?
Yeah.
When the Angels win the pennant.
Yeah.
That's so
Hey, you
messed
know what's
up.
crazy?
And then
And there's a
the
whole
kid's
thing
like, "Oh, he's
about
going to come back. The Angels are playing so well." And the dad just like, that dad's never coming back.
Hey, but I mean, kind of. No, it's kind of in line. I never noticed this before, but there's a whole thing about it. All the Disney princesses are motherless.
Oh, me and my
Oh.
mom have this whole theory. Yeah, every movie, the mom dies.
Or she's just absent.
there's no moms in
if something
movies.
something happens where the mother and all the Disney princesses are just not
Yeah.
there.
Even Bambi.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Done.
All of
Yeah.
them. All I'm talking about Cinderella, with Rapunzel, fucking everything.
Absent mothers.
Little Mermaid. You name
Who
them.
had
mom's not-
the wicked stepmother?
Snow
Yeah,
White?
that was
Snow-
Rapunzel.
No, wait.
Yeah, Rapunzel had mom wasn't there.
No, I think that was Cinderella.
Cinderella had the wicked stepmother because
Yeah.
then the
Well,
sisters.
so did Rapunzel.
They all got wicked.
She got kidnapped into the
Yeah,
castle.
they trapped her. Yeah.
But then Cinderella is the wicked stepmother because it's the sisters. Then they get to go to the ball, and Cinderella
Did
doesn't.
stepmothers get a bad rep
Terrible rap.
because of
Yeah.
Disney?
100%.
Yes.
Because stepmothers
There's a whole bunch going on.
can be some of the nicest people ever. Now they're bad stepmothers for sure.
Yeah. I'm not the stepmother. I'm the mother who stepped up.
That's right.
Okay.
Stepdad should
Yeah,
be
man. I
getting a
don't
bad
know. There's
rep.
something going on with Disney lore and them not writing in healthy relationships with princesses.
And it's not even the princesses. It's every like decom, like all of these movies.
Moana don't have a mom.
Moana doesn't have a mom.
No, bro. None of them do. They're all gone.
Or we,
Raya, even the new ones.
Even
Yeah,
the live action
motherless.
Disney, like even the like live action Disney
Telling you,
movies,
bro.
they don't got moms.
Telling you, Jasmine from Aladdin. I'm telling you, bro. None of the princesses from Disney have
Does
moms.
Hercules have a mom? I know he's not a princess.
I'm not. That's not a princess. But I don't think he does.
Hercules
does
is a
he?
demigod, right?
Do they have?
Yeah.
I haven't seen Hercules in a long time. I
So-
can't forget.
But
the
she
plot.
died. I think she died anyway, didn't
Does
she?
Hercules have a mom?
Zeus,
from giving
Zeus
birth to those
impregnated
broad shoulders.
a Muggle and had Hercules.
Moana 2 coming out soon.
I know. I'm excited.
I can't wait for that. Yeah. Yeah, it's weird, man. It's weird. I wonder if it's intentional. I didn't look it up, but I just started to notice something. I was like, hold on, because my daughter like loves all these little ladies, and I'm just like, why? Where their moms at? You know what
Are you
Dude.
familiar with the Pixar theory
I mean?
that
No.
all
What
of
is
the
this?
movies exist in the same universe and they're all connected?
And there's Easter eggs from different movies in all of the Pixar movies. So
I know there's Easter
Yeah,
eggs.
so-
I mean, you can see them.
Yeah.
It's like
so like
how when you say the same universe, what does that mean?
they all exist on the same timeline. Hold on.
Yeah, you'd have
So like,
to.
what does Toy Story have to do with
Here, I'll show you.
Little Mermaid? You know what I'm saying? Like, explain.
Like you'd have to watch. There's a long video on it. The guy who came up with the theory, but they all exist. Like,
In the same dimension.
Yeah, I don't know how to
basically.
explain it other than saying the same universe. Sid from Toy Story could go down the street and bump into the. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. You'd have to watch the thing.
Okay,
But
gotcha.
it's they're all connected.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not saying yeah.
Sid from Toy Story's in
No, I-
prison now.
Does the lamp appear in any other movies?
What do you mean?
The Pixar lamp?
Well, it's in the opening credits.
Yeah, but is it in the background?
I don't know.
Well, hold on, because okay, the Lion King, Simba's a young cub, and then he becomes an adult. So that's 20 years.
Lion King is
Are you
in
saying
Pixar.
they exist all on the same
Wait,
timeline?
is Lion King Pixar?
No, it's Disney.
No, that's Disney. No, so
Oh, shit, okay,
Pixar
I'm
is
bugging.
Toy Story, A
What's up
Bug's
with Pixar?
Life, Monsters
Incredibles.
Inc., Finding Nemo, Incredibles, Cars, Ratatouille. Ratatouille is in this. Wall-E.
Inside Out?
Inside Out, yeah. Good Dinosaur, Finding Dory.
Oh, Pixar's just they're still Disney movies.
Yes.
It's just they're the new age.
It's the
animation of it.
different
Okay.
type of the animation.
So apparently, a lot of the theory centers around the fact that animals can like do different stuff and they behave like people, and that happens in Ratatouille. We see animals experimenting with their growing personification in small controlled experiments. Remy wants to cook, which is something only humans explicitly do. He crafts a relationship with a small group of humans and finds success. Yada, yada, yada. It's possible that Charles Muntz, the antagonist of Up, learned of this startling rumor, giving him the idea to begin inventing devices that would harness the thoughts of animals, namely his dogs, through translator collars. There's a whole thing, but all of the things are
Skeptical.
connected. Also, by and
I'll-
large, the store is in all the movies.
Like that makes sense for the animators to like put little Easter eggs in to connect things. That's fun probably for them and for the lore. But like they'd have to explain to me how in Incredibles, the make believe superheroes is somehow connected to cars.
So,
you
right.
have to explain that to me.
So, and there's a whole timeline. Like, the Good Dinosaur is the first in the timeline because it's a dinosaur.
I had a panic attack the first time I saw the Good Dinosaur.
Why?
I was smoking weed
Oh.
and I was watching it, and then when he got lost, for some reason that triggered like immense like panic in me. I was like, oh my God, this nigga's lost. And all of a sudden my heart started beating like crazy. Felt like I couldn't breathe, and it was a full-fledged panic attack. I'm sure it was the weed. I'm sure it wasn't the movie.
The Good Dinosaur. The G-rated Pixar film.
Yeah, he was doing his thing, which I hated him, by the way. Oh my God. You want to talk about one of the more frustrating characters in a movie? I hate that fucking dinosaur. Just one of the scariest little. He a bitch.
I haven't seen that one, but it starts with Good
Oh,
Dinosaur.
don't waste time.
Then-
you just want to smack him through the TV whole time. Soft.
Then the next one is Brave. And then it goes Incredibles, Toy Story, and then it goes on, and then like Wall-E is in the future.
See. I'm open.
I would look into it.
I'm skeptical, but I would like to be convinced.
Maybe we could do an episode on it.
That'd be fun. Connect all the
Apparently,
dots.
in this timeline, A Bug's Life takes place in 2898 after like humans repopulate the Earth.
After Wally.
After Wall-E. Yeah.
I never loved
All
Wall-E.
right.
Me either.
Didn't do it
I
for
love
me.
Wally. Wally's fun. Wally's a good movie. There's not a lot of dialogue,
Right.
but it's more like yeah, you guys. I enjoy it. I enjoyed the animated story that went
think I
along
was
with it.
too-
a little frustrated. Little
I think I
machine.
was too young to appreciate Wall-E for the like cinematic
Now Ratatouille, that's the movie I can recite most of the things.
That's what you said in the clip.
Oh, there you go. I haven't swayed much from my thoughts.
But yeah.
Coco, that's a banger too.
Mhm.
I'm just looking at all these. I haven't seen Soul. Is Soul good?
I haven't seen that one.
Didn't see it.
I've been missing out on all
I
these.
don't see It's because you don't got churn.
It's true. I'm childrenless.
Let's go see Moana too.
Okay.
Wait, see the first one first.
Well, I'll be lost.
Oh, have you not seen Moana?
No.
Oh,
you
gotta watch
You
Moana.
gotta see Moana.
Okay.
She's been staring at the edge of the water.
All-time soundtrack.
I've been staring. All kind of. It's alright.
I'm a sucker for Lin-Manuel Miranda, unfortunately.
Yeah, it was not. I don't think it's in the top 5.
Really?
Nah.
What's the best song that's ever been released exclusively on a soundtrack?
Any soundtrack?
Yeah, like a song that
think-
holds up on its own even without the movie.
Yeah. Phil Collins, Lion King.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say
Tarzan?
Yeah.
Same. I thought you were gonna do that too.
Which one in Lion King?
I think it's okay. The can you feel the love?
Was that Elton
tonight?
John?
Oh, it could be.
Because that had Can You Feel the Love Tonight? That had Circle of Life too.
I can mix my white people up. I found out recently that that's not just me. Like a lot of people mix up Mark Wahlberg and what's
Matt Damon.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a very interchangeable man in people's eyes. So it's not just me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there is a list that Billboard has put out that has the top 75 soundtrack songs of all time.
All right, before we get to the list, though, I want to hear what you guys think, though. Like, if you were to say a song that exists outside, like it doesn't need the movie, just a banger. I've got one.
Go ahead.
Free Willy, Michael Jackson. I think we sang it on this podcast. Oh, me, like the river of Jordan. That song?
Oh, that's a good one.
That is a good one.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I would probably say all these kind of have to do with the movie though. This is like my personal favorites, like Under the Sea.
Yeah.
That's a banger.
But I'm talking a song that was released for a movie that became a jam on its own.
What's the one from Titanic? Whitney
Oh,
Houston.
My Heart Will
My
Go
Heart Will
On.
Go on, Celine Dion.
Or yeah, sorry.
Are we talking about movies or just like Disney movies?
All
Any
movies,
movie.
which is so expansive.
I didn't know
Oh.
that this song was made for a movie, but Eye of the Tiger.
That's a good one, yeah.
Isn't it Rocky?
Yeah. I knew it was in that movie. I didn't know it was made for that movie.
Yeah, that's a good answer.
Interesting.
I would say Celine Dion in Titanic, the My Heart Will Go
Yeah.
On song. But that song is still, at least in my eyes, so closely tied with that movie.
Yeah.
What about the Grease Lightning jump?
Grease Lightning?
You're like,
Yeah.
are we counting like musicals?
Hopelessly Devoted to You from Grease is a all-time.
Mighty Mighty Boss Tones, Wrong Thing, Right Then, on the Meet the Deedles soundtrack. That holds up. Everyone talks about that.
Whitney Houston, I Will Always Love You.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah, that's your answer. There we go.
That's kind of like the bar of singers. Like if you could sing this song, you got pipes.
That is number 7 on this list.
Written by Dolly Parton.
number 7. I would like to see 6
Originally performed
wanna
by
know
Dolly
6?
Parton.
songs. Well,
Yeah, give me the top 10.
Okay, you want the top 10?
yeah, I'm down.
Okay. Number 10, Staying Alive by the Bee Gees.
Oh,
Ah,
Saturday Night
movie?
Fever?
Yep. Saturday Night
Got it.
Fever. Number 9, Call Me by Blondie, An American Gigolo.
Okay.
Number
Did not
eight,
know that was a soundtrack.
Number 8, End of the Road by Boys to Men in Boomerang.
Not familiar.
Ooh.
I do not know that.
Oh, that was a black movie back in the 90s. But you haven't heard the song?
No,
You've never heard
Oh.
End of the Road?
I don't think so.
Although we go.
Oh yeah.
To the
Yep.
end of the road.
Number
You a big T.
number
You
7.
never been to a graduation?
No, I've heard it. I didn't know that song.
Give me a break.
Bro's never been to a graduation. Number 7, Whitney Houston, I Will Always Love You.
That's low to me. But go ahead.
6, Night Fever by Bee Gees. Okay, 5, Flashdance, What a Feeling by Arian Cara. Okay.
Now I'm
Whitney
just
Clears.
judging these. Are they better than I Will Always Love You? That's it's sullying my.
Number 4,
Go ahead.
Eye of the Tiger.
I respect that.
I can see why people would put it above that. But yeah.
Number 3, How Deep Is Your Love by the Bee Gees.
No.
Did the Bee Gees write this song?
No, yeah, right. No, a lot of Bee Gees, and all from Saturday Night Fever. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Okay, this one
Number 1, the Bee Gees.
This one I don't know. Everything I Do It For You, for Bryan Adams and Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Yeah.
I don't know that one.
It's a classic
Everything
song.
I do it for you. Yeah, it's a good song.
Oh wait, can I guess?
Put it up.
Can I guess one of the other ones?
Well, we only have number 1 left.
Is it going to be "Kiss from a Rose"?
Nope.
Oh,
Oh, what a
What
great
movie was
one.
that made
wasn't
for?
that?
Batman
Yeah.
Forever. If I can give you through a kiss from a rose on a grave. Ooh, the more I get
The
it, you the
stranger
stranger.
it feels.
It's number
Yeah.
39.
39.
Yeah.
That's
blasphemy.
bad list. Okay, what's number 1?
Okay, anybody want to guess? I guess you already guessed.
Oh, the Bee Gees.
Yeah, it is not the Bee Gees. It is Endless Love by Diana Ross and Lionel Richie.
Okay.
I don't even know that song.
I'm not mad at it, but I still think number 1 on that list is I Will Always Love You.
You're probably familiar with "Endless Love" from Happy Gilmore.
Oh, is it in Happy Gilmore?
Friends listen to "Endless Love in the Dark" on their first date at the ice hockey arena.
Well, how does it go?
No, that's what he says.
I know, but how does the song go?
I can't even sing it.
Oh. Sounds like kind of a fun
I have a
list.
top 10 snub that I think you'll agree with.
Okay.
I got one too.
All right,
Mine.
snubs.
Who's your favorite artist?
My favorite artist of all time,
You tweet about this artist a lot. Female.
Miley Cyrus.
The Climb.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
wait. Let's see if this is on.
What movie?
The Hannah Montana
Hannah
movie.
Montana.
Oh,
Not on the list.
Oh.
A sneaky, solid movie.
okay.
Yes.
And what's the other movie with her, When I Look at You?
Oh, the last song?
With Liam Hemsworth.
Now wait.
Look at you.
Purple Rain. Would that count?
It was on a list
yes,
I
sir,
saw.
it
Yeah.
counts.
64.
Yes.
That's-
Oh, wait. No.
Yes,
Wait,
sir,
wait,
it
wait.
counts.
This list is invalid then.
Wait.
I thought the Bee Gees made it.
Sorry. Hold on.
Barry Gibbs, written by Barry Gibbs.
Purple Rain is not on the list. The
That's
movie.
crazy.
There are songs from that movie on the list.
How does that happen?
I'm looking at a list as Purple Rain number 3. So some people
Yeah,
people certainly.
I would
count.
like to look at that. I got my snub on the Bee Gees list. I Don't Want to Miss a Thing by Aerosmith.
Oh yeah.
Dog, that is such a beautifully
Yeah, not
written.
on
What movie
here.
is that?
I
Armageddon.
love that song. Armageddon.
With his daughter, Liv Tyler.
Did not know that. I love that song though.
Not on this list.
I miss you, babe.
No, just the sentiment of like, I don't want to close my eyes. I don't want to fall asleep because I'd miss you. And every time I dream of you, the sweetest dream would never do. I'd still miss you. And I don't want to miss a thing. That is fucking
You need to do some
unreal
spoken word of some of these songs.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't going to dare try that. He has one of the greatest voices of all time. I wasn't going to dare attempt that.
What else do you want to hear Arian do spoken word of?
A rap, maybe?
I don't know.
That's kind of...
Let's get it on.
Oh, I've been feeling tired. Trying to hold back this feeling for so long. And if you feel like I feel, what does he say after that?
Come on.
Come on. Oh, come on. Oh, hey, there's a dude.
I don't think that's part of it.
Oh, no, I just totally forgot. There's a dude named October London that sounds exactly like Marvin Gaye. And Marvin Gaye has one of the most distinct, beautiful voices of all time. I shit you not. If you look at October London, he sounds exactly like Marvin Gaye, and it is scary, dog. It is weird.
Can I blow your mind real quick?
Pause.
I suspected this, but I just looked it up to make sure because I didn't want to make a fool of myself. You've been singing "Let's Get It On" wrong your whole life.
I've been feeling tired, babe.
Nope, you're already wrong.
Feeling tired? I've been feeling tired.
Isn't it? I've been really trying.
Yeah, I've been really trying, baby.
Trying to hold back this feeling.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a lot of those. There's a lot of those.
So I remember when my first experiences with Two Americas, I was probably, I'm going to say 10 or 11 years old. And I went out to a local restaurant bar in the Northern Virginia area. They had this great band that was playing there. Fantastic band. The bass player, Gary Granger, he played with Whitney Houston for a while. Just outstanding musicians everywhere in this band. And the audience, I would say I was probably like one of a handful of white people in the audience. And they started playing Let's Get It On. And the whole crowd started singing along. But they weren't singing along. They were singing the harmonies. And I was like, how do you guys know the harmonies to this? How's everybody just know to jump in with the harmonies and not sing the lead vocal line to it? I had never experienced anything like that. And I was like, okay, I'm above my pay grade right here.
What is it?
I was in an audience that was almost all black, and
no, not a part. What line was it?
They were singing the harmonies to the entire song.
In what way? Like, give me an example.
Like, let's get it on. They were doing, let's get it on. I can't do the harmonies because I don't have it like that.
I'd have to see. I don't.
And then they played Purple Rain, and then the harmonies really kicked in Purple Rain.
That is the most interesting. So there's one of my favorite artists of all time, if not my favorite artist of all time. His name is Bobby McFerrin. He did the "Don't Worry, Be Happy."
Yeah.
He did that song. He's like a vocal virtuoso. He is like insane. He has songs amongst all different genres. And one of the things he does is when he tours, he does like vocal games with the audience. And like it's beautiful what he does. He'll like stand in a place and he'll be like, okay, when I stand here, this is when I stand here, this is when I stand here, this is right? And so he'll like jump, people go and it's fascinating to see how you can kind of manipulate an audience into harmonies, into singing. And so when like individually, majority of them can't sing. But when you get people collectively in a group, the notes hit, and it's a fascinating thing to me. I'm sure it's been studied, but I haven't really looked into it.
What if we did that with the entire world one day?
That would mean everybody would have to agree, but in the hypothetical, that would be amazing.
Yeah. Like if you're in this state, you have to sing this note and this line at 1 p.m.
The whole world in harmony. I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you.
That would be nice. And as you were doing it, I think the way that you would have to do it would be like maybe even separated by birth month. Because if you did by state, then everybody's singing like the same line and you don't even hear the harmony at all, right?
A 12 note harmony? That would be that would just be you slamming your hand on a scale.
Okay, so you'd have to go like if you were born between
it'd be 5,
like
right?
January and March, then you do this note. April through June, you do this month. You'd have to do it like you could do a 4-part harmony. That'd be good.
Okay. I think you could do 5.
Maybe 5, but
no, you're right. You're right. 4.
But I don't think that you could do it by state because then you just listen to everybody sing the same thing. You wouldn't even hear the harmony. You'd have to wait for the cut up to come out where you could hear what you guys actually sounded like.
Elon can capture it on Starlink.
Yeah. Make it happen. I'd like to buy the world a Coke and teach them to sing in perfect harmony. Isn't that a Smash Mouth song?
That's a Coke ad.
Yeah, it's also a Smash Mouth song. All-Star. Although he says toke. Get it? Weed? Okay, so before we get into Operation Gladio, I don't know if I should take a victory lap or not. I think I'm close to a victory lap on this. But I like a year ago, I think I predicted that at some point Trump would allude to the fact that he could run for another presidency if he got elected another time. I think at the time, I could be wrong about this. I think I said...
No, you did. I remember you saying
I think I said
like
that he would either toss it as an offhanded comment or he would like make a joke about it and see how people reacted. and I was told I had Trump derangement syndrome at that point, and the internet told me that I was an idiot for saying that. And
you do and you are, but continue.
So today he told the members of the GOP House, I believe, I suspect I won't be running again unless you do something else. Unless you say he's so good, we've got to figure something out. So
yeah, I mean, do you?
But I think at the time I said he could joke about it.
Give it a rest.
I mean, if I said,
I would love to hear him say this comment.
Okay, so even if it was a joke, which I think it was probably a joke, I don't know if he's putting out a trial balloon or whatever, but he may have made a joke about it. I think I said he might make a joke about it or throw it out there. I don't know because I haven't gone back and listened to what I said when I said it. But then everybody was like, no, 0% chance.
What odds would you like me to give you on Trump making any serious attempt to run for a third term? I will give them to you.
Well,
name your price.
Again, I'm not saying that he will. And back then, I didn't say that he would. I said that he would bring it up.
Okay. I mean, I guess if your claim is that Trump might make a joke at some point, sure.
Okay. All right. That's fine. But I might have nailed it.
So do you think he was being serious when he said that?
I don't know. I have not heard the audio of it. I suspect that he was making a joke about how loved he is and what a great job he's going to do, and they're all going to love him.
Okay, but it's a yes or no question. Do you think he was being serious?
I don't think he was being serious with this.
Okay.
But he could have. He might keep saying it. I don't know.
Okay, I mean,
you know how he works. Like if the line lands,
yes,
he's going to go back.
Yes, I do know how he works, which is that he says shit like this, and it means nothing.
Yeah, but if the line lands, he's going to keep making the joke.
But it does mean
say
so.
Though. He's the president. Like he's not a random guy.
If you said it, Big T,
okay,
it means nothing. No disrespect to you, but if the president of the United States, former president of the United States, and the president-elect of the United States of America says it, yeah, that means something.
I am far more interested in action than words. And he did not say, crazy. I might need to look into running for a third term. It's not what he said.
He's literally said we should suspend the Constitution, but it's like,
and if there is ever a scintilla of anything that alludes to that, then we should get him out.
He did.
But there's people who believe him because he's
No. He literally did do that. He tried to, I don't want to get into this debate, but he literally tried to halt the counting of the electorates. This is why he was on trial. That's what he did.
So in this case, I think that he was making a joke and fucking with the press. That's what I think he was doing. But again, that's what I said. I think, again, need to go back and listen to exactly how I phrased it. But I believe that's what I said that he would do. And you guys were like, Trump derangement syndrome.
No, I didn't say that. But I think I said I would be surprised if, and I think if I remember the conversation correctly, I said I don't think that he could get away with it if he tried to or if he wanted to go through with it. I think Republicans would actually wake up in the Senate and the Congress, maybe, but I don't think he can get away with it.
And again, I don't think that he's saying that he's going to run. Like, I'm not an idiot. I don't think that he's right now being like, yes, I'm going to run for president.
He's going to get killed long before he ever has the opportunity to run for a third term. So don't worry about it.
Sounded like a threat, Big T.
Damn. Why you want to do that?
I do not. They've tried twice. Came pretty close. That was before he was in there.
We're going to get Brace back on to talk about the second would-be assassin because he knows everything about this guy.
Oh, yeah, really?
It's going to be a good episode.
All right.
That the little, like the 20-year-old kid?
No, that was the first one.
That was a guy that got...
We'll never know anything about him.
He got domed up. He took a shot to the dome piece. The second guy, that's the guy that they took alive. And that's the guy that Brace knows everything about. And the good thing about this guy is he has left a long track record of everything he's ever thought or believed in because he was a serial letters to the editor writer.
He's dead though too, right?
No, they took him alive.
Oh.
Yeah, But this guy, he left his mark in every city that he ever lived in because he would constantly write letters to the editor complaining about things, mostly graffiti. He's one of those anti-graffiti.
So what's his main? What was his main gripe? Like, why did he want to take him out?
It's a very, again, we have to get Brace to explain all of it, but it's a he's a very complicated yet simple individual. His political views are all over the map. From like radical leftism, radical centrism. Maybe that might be the most powerful one.
What is radical centrism?
He believes deeply in like society in the United States being meaningful, and you're gonna have to, and getting along and compromise. He believes deeply in like compromise and all that shit. He also has some
like a radical centrist.
He's got some radical right-wing tendencies as well, all over the map. But again, it's extensively cataloged in everything. He had like a blog. He wrote on Twitter. Wrote letters to the editor. He was at times like very pro-Ukraine, at times very pro-Taiwan. He's just crazy guy. But again, not for me to explain because I'll do a very bad job of it, and I'll leave some stuff out. But Brace will do a good job.
Gotcha.
Before we get into Operation Gladio, it's brought to you by Cars.com. If you want to find a trustworthy dealership reviews from shoppers like you, go to Cars.com. They have the latest research, shopping tools, and dealership reviews to help every shopper find the perfect car. It's a place that you can go to see how much your car is going to be worth, not just right now, but also 6 months from now, 8 months from now, a year from now. You can shop by monthly payment. You can filter by features to find the cars that fit your budget and your needs. On Cars.com, help me track down El Caminos, get just the one that I wanted, perfect color, perfect mileage, perfect location, condition. Check out Cars.com and start exploring your next possibility today. Track your car's value on Cars.com. Check it out, Cars.com. We're also brought to you by Steven Singer Jewelers. The holidays are almost here. Steven Singer Jewelers has the number one gift. If you're looking for a gift for this upcoming holiday season, look no further. It's also cuffing season. It's engagement season. And if you're looking to do that, best place to get diamond jewelry is with Steven Singer Jewelers. They also have diamond stud earrings. If you're looking for a present, Steven has the most beautiful, best value, real natural diamond studs anywhere. Choose a pair of Anita diamond stud earrings starting at just $298. Steven makes it so easy to buy real diamond jewelry for someone that you love. There's no phony sales, no haggling, no nonsense, just easy and fun. Steven's real diamond studs are flawless to the eye, near colorless, and they come with his unbeatable full-value lifetime trade-in. You can trade up your diamond studs at any time and receive exactly what you paid towards a larger pair. Steven also has the best guarantee in the business, full 100-day, 100% no-hassle money-back guarantee. That's a really good deal, great guarantee. And also, if you think that you want to get a pair of diamond stud earrings, and then later on, maybe once you get that raise, maybe a bonus kicks in later, you want to upgrade the diamond stud earrings, it's perfect because you can receive exactly what you paid for those earrings towards a larger pair. You get the trade up, you get the full 100-day, 100% no hassle money back guarantee, and they have fast and free shipping. Go to IHateStevenSinger.com, click on the Anita Diamond Stud Earrings, or visit Steven's showroom at the other corner of 8th and Walnut in Philly. Buy real diamonds from a real jeweler that you can trust. Steven Singer Jewelers. That's IHateStevenSinger.com. All right, Operation Gladio. Going to get into some post-World War II shit here. What do you guys know about Operation Gladio?
We were taking down the commies from within.
We're trying to. Yeah. So after World War II, we did the Marshall Plan. We injected a shitload of money into Central Europe to try to rebuild it because we bombed the fuck out of it and it had been at war for years and years and years. So I think very smartly, and we also did the same thing in Japan, we gave a lot of money to try to rebuild it so that the countries that we ended up destroying or working with the coalition to destroy didn't end up hating us. Makes sense, right?
Sure.
So that was kind of the general thought, is develop like a prosperous economy, and with the prosperous economy, or at least rebuilding back to as close to prosperous as possible, it creates an environment where people won't grow up to hate the country that wrecked their country, which makes sense. But we also had a struggle going on because right as World War II ended, and even maybe, just prior to it ending, we were fighting the Cold War against Russia, the Soviet Union, who was on our side in World War II.
People don't talk about that.
No, I mean, the Soviets, they kicked the shit out of the Germans. They almost died doing it, but they kicked the shit out of them. And what, like 5 times as many Russians died in World War II than people from the United States, maybe even more than that.
I didn't know that.
I want to say like 3 million Russians might have died.
I'll look it up.
Yeah. So post-World War II, we have to figure out what to do with Central Europe because it had just been conquered by first the Nazis, then by the Russians. And so we got to figure out how we're going to be divvying it up, what parts we're going to be putting under Soviet Union control, what parts we're going to be keeping, turning back over to their governments that were in exile. And the way that we did that, they had, there was a big conference. And to get there, FDR, who was kind of on his last legs, no pun intended, he had to meet up with Stalin and decide this. This was prior to the end of World War II. And when they're figuring out how to divide up Eastern Europe, Stalin knew that FDR was in really bad shape. And so he put the conference that he was going to have with him on in a remote location that would take like 5 or 6 days to get to. So FDR had to fly, travel by train, travel by train. He had to spend a lot of time traveling. Then he got there, he was exhausted, and then Stalin was like, okay, let's sit down right now and negotiate this. And because FDR was so exhausted, FDR just kind of gave in to a lot of what Stalin wanted. He gave up Poland because he was so tired. He was like, if this will get Stalin to stop yelling at me when I'm so exhausted, I'll just say he can have Poland.
That's nuts.
Yeah, kind of crazy.
Real quick.
Yeah.
You say the Soviet Union, you think, had how many more casualties than the United States?
I'm going to guess, what did I say originally, 3 million? I think it's more than that. I'm going to say they had 5 million more people die.
So they had 20 to 27 million deaths.
Okay.
We had 400,000.
I guess maybe I was thinking of military.
Do you know who was second?
Second, behind...
Soviet Union was first.
By far. I'm going to say maybe another Eastern Europe, maybe Poland?
China,
really?
15 to 20 million people.
That makes sense because Japan invaded.
Then Germany, it's about 7, Poland, Japan, India, 3 million people.
Yeah, the Chinese, they don't get their recognition. They got fucked up during World War II.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Japan did some bad stuff to the Chinese. 20 million. Whew.
That's what it says. 20 to 27.
Damn.
Well, that's Soviet Union. China's 15 to 20.
So after World War II, we divide up Eastern Europe and we say, okay, Soviet Union, you can have these countries and they can be under your sphere of influence, but we're going to make sure that the rest of Europe tries to stay away from communism as much as possible. So even though we had just fought this war and these countries some of them had lost, like Italy, for example, they just lost this war. They were still so very afraid that the Soviet Union was going to take over. They put some measures into place to keep almost like a shadow army in case the Soviets rolled the tanks in, and they had battle plans for how they were going to fight back. So the Italian resistance fighters that were left-leaning, they could have been socialists, they could have been communist, they liberated northern Italy at the end of World War II. So it was like a resistance from within. And this was called the Italian Civil War. And there was a potential for Marxist ideologies to take over post-war Italy after the fascists were defeated. So Benito Mussolini, they killed him, executed him, and the people of Italy, they were leaning more towards the other side, which would be communism, than towards fascism, or what Italy's traditional alignment was with the West being just, capitalist in the normal sense that the rest of the world was, or the Western world was. But there was a fear that they would be so mad that they just got their asses kicked in World War II that the people would swing completely to the other side and become communist. So they came up with Operation Gladio. The codename Gladio refers to the Italian sector of the anti-communist mission. It means sword in Latin. So there were other things going on in other European countries that were similar. In Greece, the anti-communist network was known as Sheepskin, and it was a stay-behind operation, SBO, and they did SBOs in many of the NATO member countries to potentially fight against the threat of the Soviet Union. So the U.S. government, we say that we did not have any part in the terrorism that took place in the years that the mission was active. Operation Gladio was in Italy. It was a scheme to have a stay-behind army or stay-behind agents in Western Europe with the idea that they'd act as partisans in the event of a hot war with the Soviets. But in reality, Gladio went beyond that. It was propaganda, political action, paramilitary action. So before the CIA, there was the OSS, and then in 1947, kind of switched over, became the CIA, and they had their first ever large-scale covert operation. In the Italian election of 1948, the CIA swung the vote, or attempted to swing the vote to prevent Italy from becoming communist. Because the Czechoslovakians, there was a coup where they did roll the tanks in 1948, and American officials were very scared about other nations falling into the Soviets. So the domino theory. We gave $11 million to centrist parties in 1948, which is a lot of money back then. The CIA forged letters to incriminate left-wing candidates, and the CIA continued to put money to the political parties that opposed the Italian Communist Party and the Italian Socialist Party for the next 24 years. So the U.S. government advised members of the Italian-American community to write home, urging their families to vote against the Italian communists. Thousands wrote their brethren in their home country with statements like, "For your good and those who want to live in peace, throw off the threat of communism." They'd say, by voting for the communists on April 18th, you make yourself slaves of Russia, which looks for the destruction of religion, the fatherland, and the family.
You should have done that in an Italian accent. Do not vote for the communists.
By voting for the communists on April the 18th, you make yourselves slaves of Russia.
They will take away the pizza.
The destruction of religion, the fatherland, the popa.
The communists, they hated the pasta, the linguine.
They hated the church.
I don't lie, Big T, your Italian accent is just not, it's not hitting.
All right, let's see you do it then.
I'm not saying I can.
They want to take away your God-given right to live with your mother.
Eddie, and he are not nice.
They say no mother cook for her son.
That's killing me, though.
They say you have to get a job.
50's not bad.
They don't want you to wear the silk.
Eddie, and say no more chicken parmesan.
That one wasn't bad.
No more wine for your children. You stop smoking a cigarette. Your mother be very upset. There was a guy named Palmiro Tagliati. They called him Il Migliore, and he was the face of Italian communism. So he tried to keep the Italian Communist Party as a part of the new Italian government post-World War II, and he had a strong ground game, and he told people vote for the PCI in the election, and he was a big proponent of a communist Italy. But the West didn't like him because the West didn't want communism anywhere. They wanted to keep Russia on their side and then everything else capitalist. There was a research study done by the CIA in 1976 that examined the measure of Tagliati's success in Italy and the measures that the CIA took in response to the achievement. Tagliati was almost fruitful in creating a communist-dominated government in Italy if it had not been for the intervention of the CIA.
That nickname you read for him, by the way,
Yeah.
that just means the best.
Yeah.
He just called himself the best.
That's a good nickname.
That kind of rocks.
The GOAT.
Yeah.
Yeah, the best.
The coldest.
Yeah. The
To ever do it.
Yeah, coldest to ever do it, Palmiro Togliatti. So there was a centrist Democrat coalition, and they were very afraid because of what had just happened in Czechoslovakia, where they welcomed the Russians in. And they said that communists will have children send parents to jail, and that children will be owned by the state. And that's what they're coming for Italy. That's what they're doing in Czechoslovakia right now. They said, in the secrecy of the polling booth, God bless you, because Stalin doesn't. And it made Togliatti change his tactics. So he did not push for state-sponsored atheism. Good luck trying to get state-sponsored atheism passed in Italy. That was probably a losing proposition from the word go.
In the 40s.
In the 40s, yeah. So he had to walk back some of those, and Togliatti had to navigate the pitfalls of relationship with the Catholic Church. And I'd imagine the Catholic Church probably had some part in trying to lessen the impact of the communist movement.
For sure.
And the CIA, the Christian Democrat Party, and the centrists defeated Togliatti, the best. They beat the best. So I guess that means that they are the best, right?
Yeah.
They won the chamber and the Senate, and the centrists took over. The election came down to issues of foreign policy and the existential issue of identity between the East and the West. They sided with the West over siding with the Russians and the East. There was a CIA operative that said that the communists were getting $10 million a month from the Soviets, but we don't know if that's true for sure. So the CIA was funding I don't want to say the right, but they were funding the centrists. They were funding the Western-backed parties over there. But also the Soviets were funding the communists as well.
You said $10 million a month?
$10 million a month.
I'm just seeing how much that is now. About $130 million now.
That's a pretty penny.
So
Did the Soviets have that much money?
Apparently.
I guess so. But as a result of this, there was never a leftist coalition to win a general election in Italy until 1996. So it was a very, very successful in its mission of keeping any leftist influence out of Italian politics. So Operation Gladio then became Anni di Piombio, which is the years of lead or the years of lead. I'm not sure. How do you pronounce that?
I would assume it's lead.
It might be. So that kind of took over for Operation Gladio in the 60s and 80s.
Real quick, do you say if a thing popped up on your phone that said I'd read your text message, you would say that's a blank receipt?
Read receipt.
Ah, that's wrong.
You say read receipt?
I do read.
It shows that the text has been read.
I don't know. Mad Dog McKenzie, what do you say?
I say
Read
I
is-
say
I think I say read receipts, but now I'm not sure.
yeah. Wait, now you're
But
throwing me off.
read is like, if I was to read something, it's like current or future events
Yeah.
that's about to happen.
I think I say.
The fact that it did happen is in past tense, which would be read. I read it.
Agreed.
Do you have your? I say. Do you have your read receipts on? Read.
Yeah, because
I think I say read.
That makes sense.
I say because
you have
it's,
your read receipts on.
it's the same pronunciation of the vowel. Read receipt.
Yeah.
Read receipt.
Sounds
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah. Like if I'm saying like, oh, does she have her read receipts on? Yeah, that's what I'd say. Yeah.
No, I still think it's read. Now that I'm thinking about it. No,
No,
it's got to be because it's past
yeah,
tense.
don't waver on this.
Yeah, no, I aware because like okay, in this context, like if I was to say, do you have your read receipts on?
That doesn't sound right.
That would mean you're going to read it in the past tense. That doesn't make any sense. So if I'm asking you, Big T, do you have your read receipts on? That doesn't make sense. But if I ask you if you have your read receipts on, which means you will read things and there's a receipt for it. But currently, if I see it and it says I had read a text, that would be in the past tense. That actually does.
Wait,
I
so you're
understand.
saying flip, like use them at different points?
If I was to ask you I think the only context it would if I was to ask you if it was on, Like if do you have your read receipts on? Because if I asked you if you have your read receipts on, well, I guess it still
No,
doesn't make
because
sense.
they are something that shows that a text has been read.
But if I'm referring to it and they have not been read yet, I'm just asking if
It
it's
doesn't matter
on.
if a text in the future has been read or not. What you're referring to is something that indicates that texts have been read. It is impossible for it to be used without a text having been read.
But if I haven't read the text,
But
how can it be past
you're
tense?
talking about a text that doesn't exist.
I'm going to read a book tomorrow. I haven't read the book yet,
Uh-huh.
but I'm going to read. I'm not going to read it tomorrow.
Oh, I think
I'm going to
I
read it
think what
tomorrow.
Arian's getting at is that if it hasn't been read, then it's a read receipt.
Okay, but what you're
I
saying
haven't gotten my
hasn't
read
happened
receipt.
isn't a thing.
I haven't got my read receipt back, but if
No,
it has
that-
been, then I just got a read receipt.
Yes.
Yeah.
If I asked you, if you asked me, do you have your read receipts on? Yes, they're for all the texts that I've read.
But in
Your
this is what I'm saying.
hypothetical text that you haven't sent is irrelevant.
No, the hypothetical text that you haven't read, it doesn't exist. But by that very proxy, it can't be read. So it has to.
Well,
be,
now you're in a
when I-
Schrodinger's text.
That's kind of the state that we're existing in right now. This is the
No,
problem
it is
with
it
language.
is tangible. The texts
You didn't read it
that
yet.
the receipt indicate have to have been read in order for the read receipt to exist.
But would you say
Okay,
I have?
Therefore,
I'm still trying to. I have to refer. It's like accounting for nothing. Nothing is there, but I still have to account for that nothing. So I have to account for the fact that something will be read at some point in time. But the fact that it's not read, what do I call that thing? It's read.
I'm so far gone.
There
now,
was
I
no
don't
year
even-
zero.
Sure.
It always goes back to that.
My mind is blown. I think it might be both.
That's what I'm saying. I understand there is a context in which read is correct, but read, in order for it to make sense to see it on your phone, it would always be read. But if I'm talking to you and asking you if that part of your phone is available, I would refer to that as a read receipt.
It's a paradox.
It's like that
It is a
bodybuilding
paradox.
forum.
Yeah, it's a paradox.
High key.
Classic.
Do y'all have that on, by the way?
I do.
I
not.
think
No.
it's nuts.
No.
I think you're a psycho if you have that on.
I did in high school, and then I grew up and realized I don't need that. I don't need people to know things.
It's
about
an
me.
asshole. It's an asshole thing. Yeah, I've seen it. I'm not gonna respond.
Yeah, but then also, even if you're not trying to be an asshole, it could inadvertently oh shit, I forgot to respond to that text.
If you get it as an alert on your phone and you can see the text on your lock screen, does that count? Will that send
No.
a red receipt?
No,
No.
you have to open.
No.
You have to open if it's been opened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a way around it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also, there's like generational gaps too. I think we've touched on this before, but like younger people don't view dry text as like passive aggressiveness. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
That's just how they communicate. So it's very bland, it's very dry, no LOLs. If it's something's funny, they'll let you know, but it's very just matter of fact. And so red receipts may not come off to them as passive aggressiveness. I didn't answer you. It's just how they communicate. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
Anyway,
I was just curious.
But we did. We successfully changed PFT's mind. Like
Yeah.
he was adamant.
I don't
earlier.
even know
He
what
was
side
struggling, and he
you're
said,
on.
"Red receipts." I'm on your side.
kind of.
If it's on your phone and you see that a text has been read, it's read. But there is a context in which read is the appropriate term for it.
Wait, so you're not on his side?
I am.
No,
The
I'm
only
a
context where
red
it's appropriate.
absolutist.
Yeah.
There is no context in which it is not read.
Red wave.
Okay, if you're going to read a book tomorrow, what would you
Arian,
say?
we're
I'm
not
going to.
sure. Yes, we're not conjugating the verb. What I'm saying is the name of the thing is read receipt because it only indicates texts that have been read in the past. The read receipt doesn't.
I'm not.
But listen, it doesn't exist if there's not a text preceding it. It can't. There is no.
That's wrong.
That's not
where you're
wrong.
wrong. It
Guess
does
what? If you
exist.
don't send a text, this mythical text that exists in the ether, the receipt never shows up because the text doesn't show up.
Your framing of it was perfect. Schrodinger's text. it exists and it doesn't exist in a superposition. You're absolutely right. I may or may not send this text, but I still have to account for the fact that it may be a text. And in that context, I can't refer to it as a read receipt because it has not been read. But
but it has to have been read for the receipt to exist.
The receipt, yes, but the fact that there's an option to put it on or off, if it's on, by the very definition of it, all the things that will be read, you have to account for those. So if as I said, the context in which I can see it being a read receipt is if I ask you if you have your read receipts on, that doesn't really make sense.
It does make sense.
It does
because they indicate texts that have been read.
Well, okay, it does make sense for the texts that have been sent and that have been
which
read.
Is the only way the receipt exists.
No.
Yes.
Nah, not true.
Yes. You can have a read receipt for a text that doesn't exist.
I'm not talking about the receipt.
That's what we're talking about. I can't get mad about this. I can't get mad about this.
The fact that you have it on, this is what podcasts are for. The fact that you have it on denotes that there is another context in which this read receipt exists. I'm going to read it. I read it. There's two possibilities of a text.
The it in your sentence, the subject of the sentence doesn't exist until it does, right?
It does exist.
No, until you send the text, there is no text. So you send the text, and then the receipt comes up because it's been read.
Does nothing exist?
Yes and no. It's.
That's my point. That's my point. Yeah, that is my point. It does exist, but it doesn't exist. It exists here. Does 2 exist? Does the number 2 exist? Not really, but conceptually it does.
Terrence Howard.
All right.
Nah, no, don't put me in that box.
Is it because he's black?
That's a wild box.
Number 2 doesn't exist.
I think he said it's because you're black, Aaron.
This is a fascinating conversation.
Barstool employee.
I think that if you put out a poll, I think it would probably be 70% read receipt.
No, I don't think so.
Higher?
No, I think it would be pretty close to 50-50, if not more people saying read.
But you think all those people are wrong?
I know they're wrong.
Yeah.
They're definitionally wrong.
Mm-hmm. That's detestable. PT, you got the biggest reach on Twitter. Just put out a poll, man.
Okay.
And we all retweet it and give the internet 24 hours to respond. And by the time this podcast comes out, we will have our answer.
I think I'll do it with a shorter time span than that.
12 hours?
No, I want to know soon.
1 hour?
Less.
You got to let it make its rounds though, because that's one of those tweets that could catch fire in all corners of Twitter.
Here's a great point. When you send a text, this is from Brendan Clancy on Twitter. Apparently KFC Radio had this in 2016. They had this very discussion. When you send a text, it says delivered under it. Mm-hmm. So you get a notification that your text was delivered in the past tense.
Yeah.
Therefore, the notification coming back to you is that the person has read it. Therefore, it is read.
Mm.
I don't. Why would anything that I say disagree with that premise?
Because we're talking about texts that exist. You're talking about texts that don't exist.
Yes, and you have to account for things that have not happened yet. So by your logic, like we can't even say a text in the future because it doesn't exist. We can't say those words, but we have to say those words.
No, that's nonsense.
In the future,
you can talk about anything you want to that may or may not exist, but what we're talking about, the receipt.
Hold on, because you cut me off. I don't disagree with what you're saying, but by your logic, we cannot say a text exists in the future, and so it's almost by your logic nonsensical to say that. But what I'm saying is we know that from this point forward there will be whatever now is, right? If everybody agrees on the now, in the future there will be texts sent. We know that. So we have to account for those texts. And by that logic, we can't say read receipts because those haven't been read yet. That's a read receipt. It's something we will do. And we know they're going to get read, but they haven't yet. And by saying that they're red, it's just not correct.
Okay.
Is that okay? I'm over it, or okay,
No, I was
understand.
reading the responses to PFT's tweet. First, the one guy said, "Read, and you're a fucking monster if it's anything else." I'm telling you, it's gonna be very close to 50-50, I think, but I think it's gonna be more Read.
Okay. Right now, it is close to 50-50, but it somehow just 250 votes just disappeared on it.
I'm seeing Read 54-46 at 934 votes. And I think this is a problem for America in a much larger sense.
Yeah, 54-46. Yeah, I'm seeing that too. I mean, this country is divided.
Retweet it on the macro. Everybody retweet it. This has gotta get solved.
I'll retweet it right now.
This country is so divided right now. Now I want to know what the breakdown is by like gender, by age.
Now that's interesting. I would say, I think most younger people say Read.
Is that because of Mad Dog McKenzie?
No, it's just from my personal experience of hearing people say it.
Because you were like the oldest mid-20-year-old in the planet?
What do you mean?
Well, because you say red, but you're saying young people by and large say
yes,
Read.
No, most people that I come across, I believe say Read.
Most people that Big T comes across are wrong in the opinion of Big T.
They're definitionally wrong.
I think it's just easier to say Read Receipt.
Oh, we're getting closer. 53-47.
Wait until California finishes counting.
That'll be about 3 weeks. By the way, there are still, it's been a week. There are still races that they're counting votes. How have we just accepted this?
There's 330 million people in America. Half of them vote. Less than half of them, but it's hundreds of millions.
But this was never a problem until 4 years ago.
No,
that's not true.
I don't think it's true.
You're just
you
young.
can probably look it up. I'm sure that if you go to
the Bush and Gore.
Yeah.
Well, that was decided by a couple hundred votes. That's obviously an outlier.
But what I'm saying is, it's never happens in that night and then it's over. It's all people.
It happened that
official.
Well, the presidential race was over that night or the next morning every time until 2020, except for 2000.
Call it. But it's never, they never finalize the vote tally. They call it based on percentages and based on the
that could be true.
Probability of the winner. That's what I'm saying. And then they get the final vote tally like it could be like a days or a week later. That's normal.
That could be true. But like I don't think there's ever been this many like races that are still not called.
But I think what you're saying is this is part of why Trump did it was so dangerous, because they're double and triple checking everything and have, which, I'm not mad at that part, but it's just everybody's questioning it. I mean, I even see people on the left with some of these conspiracy theories, and I'm like, bro, shut this shit down.
Okay.
Like it causes to question the normalcy of vote counting in general and the integrity of it, which is not in my opinion, the interest of the American.
Okay, what I'm reading right here for the reasons why it takes California so long. One, there's a lot of people, and two, there's a lot of mail-in votes. So on the mail-in votes, you send your ballot in, and then they have to remove ballots from envelopes, put them aside, and then they also have to compare signatures on the registration and then on the actual vote to make sure that they match up. So that you can imagine that would take a lot of time to compare those signatures, right?
I guess.
And then some of those votes get set aside as challenges, and they have to verify, is this person actually who they say that they are? So when it's millions of people doing that, it takes a long time. So the ballot has to be postmarked on or before Election Day. So there are some that come in a little bit later.
We're going to get some mail-in votes on red.
The election was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Like all of the swing states, those were close races, dog. We're like 100,000 votes, 50,000 votes. Like it was close.
Yeah, so when you see the graph that shows like where did all these votes go from 2020 to 2024, two things about that graph that's been making its rounds. One, the x-axis starts at 50 million. So it looks a lot more drastic than it really is when the x-axis starts at that level. And two, those are the votes like from election night that they've tallied up So it's going to end up being, I don't think that voter turnout is going to be that far down.
She's at 72.
Yeah,
right
72.
now. Biden was 81, I think.
Yeah, 81.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at the...
Also, that was off of pandemic when the world was bored as shit.
And everybody mailed their shit in. But if you look at a chart where the x-axis starts at 0, it's not that crazy.
Right.
Yeah. Learning about graphs. All right, I'm going to check in on this poll one more time.
It's holding steady at
53.6 to 46.4 in favor of Reed.
tough.
23 minutes left on it.
I think it's a damning indictment on our country.
Well, no, you say read receipts.
Me?
Oh no, you said read.
Yeah, we just did 20 minutes on this.
Yeah. My bad. I got confused. Okay, we'll see what the final.
It's pretty good sample size. At 5,000 votes.
We're at 6,300 now. Yeah, burning it up. So,
you only did 30 minutes, huh?
Yeah, because I wanted the answer before this episode was over.
Okay,
so we could discuss.
Yeah.
So let's not look at the results until the very end. So yeah.
Wait, real quick.
Mm-hmm.
This person has crafted a response that I think could answer a lot of this. It is red for sure, but everyone says read receipts, and if you don't, you're a freak. So maybe there's a large group of people out there who acknowledges that red is correct, but they've been bullied into saying read.
I think they might be like me. They say read receipts because it's easier because the vowels are pronounced the same. But
that could be it too.
But we understand the logical paradox that is contained within.
So there's an underlying coalition of people who acknowledge that they're wrong, but they're going to keep doing it anyway.
Yep. If that ain't society, brother, I don't know what is.
Yeah. I mean,
So you're gonna keep with the read, PFT?
I think I would have to make a concerted effort to change how I pronounce that word in the future, and I don't know that I have the energy to direct towards making that concerted effort. So I think I might stick with read.
I mean, I will say I do that with, like, if I was to say
RBIs.
No, I say RBI, but like PFT. I don't want to be mean.
Say
PFT is shorter than I.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
That's correct. You would say I, but
grammatically,
nobody says that.
Yeah.
So you say me.
Yeah. If somebody says shorter than I, you're like, wow.
Yeah. You would be like, look at that piece of shit.
Yeah,
Where'd you go to
douchebag
college?
Yeah. So I don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
I would say you're shorter than me,
that's-
but I would not say I would say it incorrectly on purpose.
What about this? Ring, 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 ring.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm looking to speak to Big T.
This is he.
Oh,
I do say that.
You say this is he?
Yeah, because I think people do say that.
Yeah.
If you say this is him,
I would say yeah. I say this is me or
That's
him.
me.
I would
This is me,
yeah,
so.
I'd probably say that's me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's me.
That's
What's
me.
up?
What it is? Oh.
All right, we're going to get back to Operation Gladio. It's brought to you by Blue Chew. You can have better sex with Blue Chew. That's right. Anybody interested in having better sex? Blue Chew is the original brand offering chewable tablets. These erection-enhancing tablets help men achieve stronger, harder, longer-lasting erections for sexual activities. It's all done from the comfort of home. With Blue Chew, say goodbye to performance anxiety. Say hello to stronger, longer-lasting erections. These chewable tablets have the same active ingredients that you're going to find in Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but they're in chewable form, and they are a fraction of the cost. Blue Chew is all about having confidence when it comes time to perform and having happy and healthy relationships. Blue Chew subscriptions include a free online consultation, 24/7 medical support, and a delivery straight to your door every month. Chew it and do it. If you want more confidence in the bedroom, use code MACRO. Get your first month free. First month free with code MACRO at BlueChew.com. Check them out. Thank you to Blue Chew for sponsoring the pod. Blue Chew, promo code MACRO, and you get your first month for free. Okay, Operation Gladio. Operation Gladio. So as we've established, they were a stay-behind. It was a stay-behind operation. So what they did was they put a bunch of weapons and loosely formed paramilitary, like militias, that had like a wink and a nod agreement that in case the Russians invade, this is where you go to get your guns. This is where you go to get your explosives. And this is how we're going to fight them. We're going to fight from within. We're going to be almost like a militia. And we're going to do surprise attacks, guerrilla operations. And they didn't tell each of the different little outfits. I think that they were made up of sometimes groups as small as 6 to 10 people that were in a battalion or whatever you want to call it together. But those were your guys that you were going to ride and die with in the event that the Soviets rolled in. We would take them all out together or try to do damage. And they didn't tell them about the other people and the other people's plans that were also part of Operation Gladio, because in case you got captured and they tortured you, they didn't want you to have any information that you could give up and give to the enemy as they were trying to find out how big is this operation. But it was significant. It was like a lot of people in Italy that were in it. Do you think there was a stay behind organization after the Civil War?
I'm sure there had to be some sort of,
The South was like, in case Sherman shows his head around here again, this is where we keep the muskets.
I mean, that was probably just every home in the South.
Yeah, probably every home.
That's our stay behind operation right now if communism ever tries to come to America.
It's just the household.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Italy, it was a little bit more organized, and it was funded by the West. And as it became, after the initial stages of it, it became the Anna de Piombo, which was the years of lead. And what that entailed was a bunch of domestic terrorism and targeted killings. So you know how I said that they didn't elect a left-leaning coalition until 1996? It was because they were so anti-communist that there were these paramilitary organizations in Italy that carried out bombings and assassinations. They had Gladio-trained operatives that were carrying out these bombings and sometimes false flag operations. As many as 12,000 attacks during this period killed hundreds of people. Some of Gladio's Italian members were also members of far-right terror groups, according to the Massacres Commission judge Guido Salvini. There was a terrorist attack in 1972 in Paitano, and it was the communist group Red Brigades who were originally blamed for it until 1984, when Vincenzo Vinciguerra, who was a fascist terrorist who claimed to have been supported by the Gladio network, who confessed. Vinciguerra, I believe, is Italian for win the war. Isn't it?
You're asking me?
Vinciguerra. I think that's what it means. So in addition to that, August 2nd, 1980, there was an explosion that blew apart the central train station in Bologna, killing 85 people. 85 people were killed, wounded 200. There was a suitcase that was slipped into the crowded second-class waiting room against a load-bearing wall. And inside the suitcase, there were 50 pounds of military-grade explosives timed to go off at 10:25 a.m. And we don't know exactly who is behind the deadliest terrorist attack in modern Italian history, but right-wing extremists, including neo-fascist Italian Secret Service agents and rogue outlaw Freemasons, carried out the attack. What's less clear is whether or to what extent the bombing was part of a clandestine Europe-wide right-wing state terror operation. So we don't know if it was tied into some of the other countries that had their own versions of Operation Gladio, but they do know who carried it out, and it was those same people that were part or trained by Operation Gladio.
So that was us or not?
It was the Operation Gladio members, people that were around after World War II, trained a lot of the people that were involved in carrying this out.
Okay, because we did some stuff too later.
Yes.
We supported a lot of false flag operations.
Yeah, so the Bologna, how do you pronounce that?
I think Bologna.
The Bologna bombing happened 3 hours before a court in the city began the trial of a group of right-wing terrorists for the August 1974 bombing of the express train from Rome to Brenner that killed 12. Investigators attributed the Bologna bombing to the Armed Revolutionary Nuclei, which was a neo-fascist terror group led by a 21-year-old woman, Francesca Mambro, and her future husband, Valerio Fioravanti. The Bologna prosecutor issued 28 arrest warrants for members of the NAR and Terza Posizione, which is another far-right group. And so that the bombing in that event, right before that trial, there was that suitcase bomb that killed 85 people that was carried out by the neo-fascists. In 2001, 3 right-wing extremists were sentenced to life in prison. That was 32 years after the 1969 bombing of a bank in Milan. So 32 years later, they arrested those guys, put them in jail. The explosion killed 16 people, injured 88. And Carlo Maria Maggi, who was a doctor and a leading member of the neo-fascist New Order organization, and his associate Delfo Zorzi, and another neo-fascist leader, Giancarlo Rogoni, they were determined to be responsible for those killings. And, Guido Salvini was the investigating magistrate who reopened the case in the early 1990s.
What percentage of Italian names do you think end in a vowel?
90?
Probably a pretty good guess.
I'm trying to think of one that doesn't.
I know.
Anybody?
I'd say 95.
Anthony
Vowel.
is sometimes
The Y?
Y.
Yeah.
Is Michael
Michael.
Italian?
Yeah. Michael. Michael
I guess
is-
I was thinking more last names, but even most of the first names, too.
Yeah. Michael could be last, but it's not an Italian last name.
I just looked at the top 10 most popular names in Italy, split by men and women. Top 5 men: Leonardo, Francesco, Tommaso, Eduardo, Alessandro. Top 5 for girls are Sofia, Aurora, Guila, Ginevra, and Vittoria.
All right, so 100% of those.
Mm-hmm.
Just wow, let's see last names.
But I feel like at least
Fasoli.
the Italians that I know, a lot of Michaels are known as Mikey when they're younger.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. It's comforting to end a name in a vowel.
Nicolas Fasoli.
Canora.
Let's see. Top 10 most common in Italy are
Just doing my job.
Rossi, Rossi,
Yeah.
Rossi. 2 Russo, 3 Ferrari, 4 Esposito, 5 Bianchi, 6 Romano,
All right, so all of them.
7 Colombo, Ricci, Morino, and Greco.
I was just
Yeah?
curious because I've never heard an Italian name that doesn't end in a vowel.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I guess that's the whole language. So
It is a gorgeous language.
It is. It's very pretty.
Like if you're gonna talk to me, sexy, I think that's the language to talk to me.
it is a romance language.
Yeah.
So in all those bombings,
certain ones like German, like if you talk to me
yeah.
sexy in German, that shit's gross.
it's scary.
It's like, yeah, it's like, are you talking shit?
They
Like,
exist
what are you
mad.
saying to me?
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Just their whole existence is anger.
Yeah.
Scheisse.
Yeah, it's not sexy. No offense to the German.
I'm
listeners.
curious what people who don't speak English think about English.
I saw a video on this. Like the way we make fun of other languages, they also make fun of American or English. What is American English? It's very different, right? So American English is very different than like the original tongue. And so I saw a video that was really funny. It said what speaking English sounds like to other people. And it was interesting because like they weren't speaking English, but it was like just odd sounds that were very English. It was an interesting video.
Like how we do French and Italian, and it's very flowery and flowy and romantic sounding. I think when they do American English, it sounds like dumb. I think
Yeah,
it's
for
loud,
sure.
Yeah, loud, dumb, and very abrasive. That's how we're viewed in the world, just loud and ignorant.
I got into an accent battle one time with the members of Jet, the band. You may know them from their Apple commercial.
I'm not familiar with their work.
1, 2, 3, turn your head and come with me, 'cause you look so fine that you're really gonna make me mine. That
I
band.
believe that was on Madden 04.
It might have been. Yeah, they're a pretty good band actually. But I was taking a ferry from, I think it was Wales, from Wales over to the south of Ireland. And so me and Will from Hard Factor, we get on this ferry, right? And it's probably like 5 o'clock in the afternoon. We were probably 18, 19 years old at the time. But you can drink over there. So we're like, shit, it's 5 o'clock. We're not drunk yet. What's wrong with us? So we go immediately up to the bar, and it's us, and then there's maybe like a dozen other people in the bar area on this boat. And Will leans over to me. He's like, I think that's the band Jet. And this is right after that commercial had come out, and that song, the video was starting to like be a little bit popular. And I was like, dude, how the fuck do you know what Jet looks like? How would you be able to spot Jet? And we have a couple Guinnesses, and Will's like, no, I really think that's them. I'm pretty sure it is. I was like, well, ask them. So next time the guy comes up to the bar, orders a drink, Will's like, hey, settle a bet. Are you guys Jet? And the guy was Australian, and he was like, yeah, mate, we sure are. And Will was like, well, you guys, it'd be wrong of us not to buy you a drink. So we bought him a drink, and we bought, I think, a round for the table. They invited us over. We ended up hanging out with Jet the entire night on this ferry, going from Wales over to Ireland. And they're so Australian. We get in an accent battle where me and Will are only talking in the Australian accent, and they're only talking to us in an American accent. And what I learned from them, Australians think that all Americans are surfers. So they would be like, dude, go get me another beer. I'm so thirsty right now. That's their American accent. And we were doing like the most bogan ass, like redneck hillbilly type of Australian accent back to them. But that was a fun night. Very hungover. Then they put us on their guest list for the next show that they did, which was fun.
Oh, it is so fun.
Yeah.
Yes, it's hard for me to hear different dialects from like British folk and Australian folk. I just hear one from each. You know what I'm saying? It's hard for me to just distinguish different dialects.
You know about like the Cockney accent in England?
Mm-mm.
It's like, right, here's the thing, right? I'm a supporter of Tottenham.
Yeah, see, that sounds just regular to me.
And then you can do proper British. I'm speaking with my proper British accent right now.
Posh.
Right,
it just sounds like totally different.
I'm a supporter of Manchester United.
Water. They say water.
A bottle of water.
A bottle of water.
You what, mate? It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday, ain't it?
Gee, are you stupid?
It's Christmas Day.
Are you stupid?
That was pretty good.
Happy Christmas, Harry.
Happy Christmas, Ron.
The peaky
Charlie bit
fucking
me.
blinders. No fighting. No fighting. I'm Arthur fucking Shelby. Arthur, don't swear like that. It's the devil's work at night, Arthur. Don't go outside.
What the fuck is this? What is
Devil's
this
work at
dialogue?
night.
That's the original Nothing Good Happens After Midnight.
Yeah. It's the devil's work at night.
You love that show.
I stopped watching after season 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I liked Arthur fucking Shelby.
I watched half an episode, didn't like it.
Half an episode?
Yeah.
You know, what part didn't you like?
The whole thing.
I think that just reminds you of the Revolutionary War. You're like, hey, you have a thing against British, don't you?
No.
When they made us
Not anymore. I mean,
take
now
a
that
moment
we
of silence to observe the Queen before opening kickoff of the NFL season last year, that was bad.
Right. I mean, we've cucked the shit out of them, so they're not an enemy in my eyes.
That's true.
I mean, they bow down to us now.
Yeah.
Wait, we've cucked them. I thought a cuck was when you allow your significant other to lay with somebody
Right.
while you
So
watch.
it's a submissive thing. They were the world superpower. We got some farmers together, said we could kick the shit out of these guys, did it, and then now they got to come to us. I mean, that's cuck behavior if I've ever heard it.
When they got to come to us. What does
I
that
mean,
mean?
we're fucking America, dude. Like, nothing. Y'all don't do anything that doesn't go through us.
Fashion starts over there.
That's fine. I'm talking on a global political stage.
Got you.
I mean, they were the biggest superpower the world had ever known, and now we're America. I mean, L. You know what I'm saying? Hold that. Hold that.
I feel you though. And Nick,
We should do
who the fuck are you? Who are you texting?
we should do an episode where we're just speaking accents all the time. I think it'd be good.
My accents are so bad. I'm not good at accents.
I liked your British one. Back.
But I can only do phrases. I couldn't come off the top. I couldn't speak in that. Like it would just
Canadian.
They sound the same to me, except every now and then they go what it's about. Like that's
A boot?
basically all I know about.
What's the crazy Toronto accent? Oh, you left your moms out in the hoods and like it's kind of yeah.
I have not heard of it.
Toronto has a
accent.
crazy
I know there's some Jamaican influence,
Yes.
Caribbean influence in Toronto, but I wouldn't even consider that a Toronto accent. That's just people from the Caribbean that have migrated up there.
No, but it has evolved into like it's a Canadian.
Don't
Jamaican.
speak on the family, Crody.
Right.
You can get deep in the family, Crody.
Yeah.
Talk about me and my family, Crody. Someone gonna bleed in your family, Crody.
What's Crody?
That's their language for like
bro.
Yeah, we should say Brody. Like Brody
Yeah.
is a thing. What
Crody.
up, Brody? So maybe it's them. I don't even know. I don't know enough people from Toronto to. I don't know. All I know is Cardinal Official. He was my original introduction to Toronto and that scene, and it was like very influenced by, like I said, the Caribbean or Jamaican.
Nice city. I'd like to go back to Toronto at some point.
I like Toronto.
I never been. I heard it was
It's
fire.
very cool.
It's a good city.
I'd like to visit. Pay my respects to Rob Ford.
R.I.P.
I want to go to New Ho King.
I bet that place has a line out the door now.
But it's so crazy what Kendrick did to that place.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they have a Kendrick special in there, and so you can go there and order the Kendrick special.
Was that crab fried rice?
No, I'll be at New Ho King eating shrimp fried rice with a what do they say? With dip sauce and a black meat, Brody. So I think it's just shrimp fried rice with I don't.
You have to bring a gun.
Sure, I can look it up. You got to bring a gun, or maybe they bring you a gun. Unloaded.
Here's your gun, sir.
Here's your gun, the Kendrick Lamar special.
So back to Operation Gladio. So all those bombings, all those arrests, they at least had the protection of the CIA. It might not have been like the CIA instructed them what to do, not like the CIA gave them the weapons to do it. But the role of the Americans was ambiguous, halfway between knowing and not preventing, and actually inducing people to commit the atrocities. That's what the judge said after the verdict was delivered. One of the people was acquitted. His name was Carlo DiGilio, and he claimed to be an informant for the CIA who collaborated with the investigation, and they ruled that his offense was covered by a statute of limitations. So the strategy of tension is what it was called there was a British journalist, Neil Asherson, and he was talking about the strategy of tension being all these plots like assassinations, false flag terrorist acts carried out with the aim of consolidating power and justifying emergency laws. So the deliberate use of terrorism to scare the voting population of a given country into a rightward shift politically towards law and order, when it doesn't matter who's committing the bombings, but when there's bombings and assassinations everywhere, historically that has led to more strict interpretations of like penal statutes, and I'm not talking about Michelangelo's David, but in terms of like laws and the rights that people are willing to give up when they feel like there might be an attack, regardless of who is perpetrating the attack. So the CIA, the State Department, they say that they were not involved with any of the right-wing terrorism that took place in Italy. There's a Swiss author named Danielle Ganser, and she wrote a book in 2005, NATO's Secret Armies, Operation Gladio and Terrorism in Western Europe. And they directly accuse the CIA and the State Department of being involved. So there was an assassination in 1978. Aldo Moro, he was a former prime minister, and he was a leader of the Christian Democrat Party, which is more the centrist. He was kidnapped by a unit of the Red Brigades, which obviously a leftist faction. And they kidnapped him, and they killed the 2 people in Moro's car and the 3 policemen that were traveling in the support car. And at the meeting, Moro was going to give his blessing to a new coalition led by Giulio Andreotti, And at that meeting, the dominant Christian Democrats would rely on communist support for the very first time. The CIA had, over the prior 3 decades, interfered in all of Italy's elections to prevent the latter party from taking power, and ended up being kidnapped on the way to this meeting where he was going to give that party the blessing. The deal would have given the communists an active government role for the first time, and they were trying to stall the revolutionary spirit by perpetrating this kidnapping. With the Cold War being a lurking presence in international affairs, Moro's mediation spelled potential disaster for many Western powers and those on the right within his country. On the extreme left, the Red Brigades, they also opposed that, even though they were leftists. They said the historic compromise dampened their attempts to undermine the Italian state and hampered their goal of a Marxist upheaval. So they were upset that the left wing was teaming up with the centrists, even though some people on the right could say the right wing the centrists teaming up with the left wing is dangerous to what we believe also. So pretty much there were reasons on both extreme sides to oppose this. So they kept him for 55 days. Their kidnappers figured out the authorities would not negotiate with them, and they killed him. They left his body in the trunk of a car near the river in Rome, and it was about 150 meters from the headquarters of the Italian Communist Party and also from the headquarters of the Christian Democrat Party. There were a lot of trials, but we still don't know exactly what happened. The suspicions were held widely that his death, one way or another, resulted from Operation Gladio. But the Red Brigades, they did it. 9 out of the 11 members were caught, put in jail. But in light of the conflicting testimonies and versions of the truth, it's not like the Red Brigades were operating as a lone wolf. Some people think that foreign involvement was an obvious part of this that has never really been addressed or reconciled. Some people claim that it was puppet mastered by the Soviets, or that the Red Brigades had been infiltrated by the CIA or by Operation Gladio. The Red Brigade's assassination in 1978, some people would say, was a false flag, and the evidence of that is that Henry Kissinger, one of the all-time guys that's just been around, he died, right? Yeah, that was one of those days online where everybody was like,
right.
Good.
Very rare these days you get full internet consensus.
Yeah,
but
Henry was one of those. Dr. Kissinger. And he just kept showing up. I feel like he's been in every single White House since like 1965. Weird body. He's a weird body all-star. Had the pants that went up to the nipples. He was like a very intelligent man that would use his genius towards rationalizing committing some of the worst atrocities that we possibly could.
He was 100 years old.
That sucks. That sucks that he lived that long.
Only the good die young.
That's true. Jimmy Carter. Yeah, fuck Henry Kissinger. The anti-Henry Kissinger podcast. Can we agree on that?
Yes.
Okay, so he had threatened Prime Minister Aldo Moro, the guy that ended up getting kidnapped. He had given him a direct threat, and there was also the involvement of like an Italian mafia-style organization, the Banda della Magliana, that could have also been involved in taking him out. So we don't know. Nobody really knows who was involved with this left-wing militia and who put them up to it. Could have been the CIA acting as the left-wing militia that ended up capturing him and then shooting his body up. So there's another organization called P2. P2 stands for Propaganda Due, and there was a man named Licio Gelli, who is a wartime fascist who is the leader of P2, and some people are saying that he ordered the Bologna bombing. Propaganda Due, P2, was a secret Freemason organization with politicians, businessmen, Secret Service, the armed forces, and influential journalists. P2's goal was to infiltrate the state and to make it impossible for the communists to take over in an election, and it operated in complete secrecy until 1980, and then they declared it to be illegal in 1982. So say what you want about the Italians, they can keep a secret. They might be the number one. If you had to tell a secret to any population, I feel like Italy might be up there.
We will not tell nobody.
I say nothing. I see nothing.
I see your mother. I do not say.
I say nothing. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just a cobbler.
It's a me, a Mario.
I just make the suits. I know nothing.
Wait, but now he's a tailor.
Yeah, I do both.
Ah.
Yeah, you stitch the wool, you stitch the leather. My uncle, he a cobbler. He taught me. My mom, she a tailor. I learn them both.
See.
I learn them both. Now we not talking about the bad thing I do anymore. See? It's that simple. It's the old Italian trick. I trick you.
Arian, he do not know what we are saying.
I fix your toilet. And then the princess, she will be mine.
Arian, I think he unmuted.
Yeah, he muted. He no speaker. He no speaker. No say nothing.
He no tell secret neither.
He no say nothing.
Everybody good at the secret to keep.
You leave the singing to Sinatra. Yes?
See.
You understand. I thought initially that this was a known dialogue, but as you were going, I realized you guys were just talking to each other in your Italian
It's
accent.
omerta. You no say nothing.
You think we are doing lines, eh? We not like a Nicky Smokes, you know.
Nicky Smokes, good Italian boy.
He do different lines.
He
you
do
know?
too much of the powder. No can trust him. You no deal of the droga. You no deal of the droga. The women, the gambling, it's all fine. It's fine. You no touch of the drug.
Do not take a powdered donut from a Nicky Smokes.
You keep that shit away from me. He'd half the donut if there's powder on it. All by himself.
Arian, mamma mia.
Oh, Arian's gonna thumbs down in the chat. You talk with your hands like me. So
Give her one of these.
I have to find it. I don't know.
So
You have to pull that from the
Yeah.
recorded.
so this group P2, they were a very influential right-wing organization, propaganda duo, and they had members that were all over important society in Italy, and some of their members may have carried out that bombing at the train station. The link between P2 and Operation Gladio was part of the broader stay-behind operation that the CIA and NATO was definitely involved in, and it was linked to the intelligence agencies of several Western European countries. There was a declassified document by John Ashton, who was the British ambassador to Italy at the time, and said that P2 was one of many mysterious right-wing forces striving by terrorism and street violence to provoke a repressive backlash against Italy's democratic institutions under that strategy of tension. Mario Caligiuri was president of the Italian Intelligence Society, and he said that Gladio was a legitimate operation under Italy's international accords. And the head of P2, Licio Gelli, was sentenced in 1995 for subversive association and his role in misleading investigations into the Bologna massacre. He died in 2015. In 2020, he was identified by the city's public prosecutors as one of the four main instigators of the terrorist attack. So they kind of just lived to murky the waters. And the guy that was the head of P2 was named in 2020 as one of the people that actually did it. So we didn't find out about Operation Gladio until recently. Again, they keep a good secret in Italy. It was in 1990, November 1990, the Prime Minister of Italy disclosed the existence of Operation Gladio in a speech to the Senate. And then everybody was like, I'm sure there were some senators that were like, dude, what the fuck are you saying right now? Why are you saying this? Keep your mouth shut. And then right afterwards, European officials talked about similar operations that they had in almost every other NATO country, where they're like, yeah, we were doing it too. Hand up. We were saying, fuck the Soviets by any means necessary. The CIA had a paramilitary network in Belgium, France, Greece, West Germany, and the Netherlands. I mean, we knew that the CIA had a paramilitary network, at least in West Germany, right next to the Bridge of Spies and the Berlin Wall. And Andreotti told the Italian parliament, he was the prime minister, and he told the Italian parliament that at the height of the Cold War tensions in the 50s and 60s, the Italians had hidden caches of arms at depots throughout the country, and eventually they scaled it down, but at the time there were 600 people that remained on the payroll, getting paid as like a secret army in case anything went down. So he disclosed it because there was a judge who stumbled onto its existence during an investigation into a neo-fascist terror attack in 1972. It was a car bombing, and the ingredients for the car bomb came from one of the secret weapons depots that was for use by the Operation Gladio forces. The car bombing killed 3 people, 3 policemen, and it was placed by neo-fascist activist Vincenzo Vinciguerra, who we've met before, last name in the war, Win the War. And they say the U.S. first approached Italy in 1951 when the CIA broached the idea of mounting a stay-behind organization in post-war Europe. So, yeah, there were a bunch of these. This is all part of the Cold War. The Cold War, the strategy that the U.S. had in the Cold War was like, we will participate in violence, but we just will make sure that we participate in violence over there and not here. So, yeah, the Cold War wasn't so cold.
This whole thing is just the exemplification of next time someone says the government wouldn't do that, yes, they would.
They would do it, but they love doing it overseas.
Right.
The CIA, so that's the thing about CIA. Their charter and their mandate says they can only do shit overseas. They can't do stuff in the United States.
Is that true?
Well, they can't, I don't know exactly how it's worded.
What about like...
They can have agents in the United States that are working on cases overseas that impact things overseas. So they will have people that like infiltrate companies sometimes that buy products from China. They work for CIA agents that work for United States buyers and purchasers. And they will have their agents serving in like purchasing roles or, I don't know, like managerial roles where they can keep an eye on like how much of X product are we importing from China right now. So then the CIA knows how much of X product China is selling to the United States. But they're not supposed to they're not supposed to put somebody high up in Coca-Cola to figure out what Pepsi's doing, you know?
Okay. Interesting.
But yeah, they're not supposed to, but I think sometimes they, in the name of finding more stuff about like China, they will also spy on American citizens.
I'm glad nothing really happened, but I am very curious what the world would look like had the Cold War ever like really popped off. Because there was so much like we were ready.
So under this strategy of tension that we have, right, or that Italy had, which is if the population if they feel unsafe at all times, then they're easier to manipulate. I think that's probably true, right?
For sure.
Like post 9/11, passed the Patriot Act.
I think we have seen an example of that pretty recently.
COVID,
if a population is scared, you can do whatever you want.
Put restrictions in place on certain things. You can't lean all the way over into a golf hole to pick your ball out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Made a lot more putts, though.
You did make a lot more putts, yeah. So, like, post 9/11, Patriot Act gets passed. They're like, it's for your own good. We need to fight the terrorists. They're among us. Any of us could be a victim next. Also, we're going to give it the acronym Patriot Act. So if you vote against it, then you're obviously not a patriot.
I didn't know that was an acronym.
Yeah. What was it? I forget what the acronym stood for.
Hold, please.
Yeah. It's one of those things where they came up with a name and then they fit in the acronym. Aaron, we're talking about how it's like just a universal truth that if your population is scared, then it's easier to manipulate, that you can get them to pass laws against themselves like the Patriot Act. And we're trying to figure out what Patriot Act.
So it's actually USA Patriot. It's the USA Patriot Act,
Okay.
and that's the whole acronym. United in strengthening America by providing appropriate tools required to intercept and obstruct terrorism.
Mm-hmm. I like how the A in USA is also America.
Yeah. No, that rocks.
Yeah, they definitely came up with that one, and then they're like, we'll figure out the words that stand for everything. But yeah, so that strategy, big.
Truly humbled under God.
There you go. Back to your point, though, Big T. The Cold War never really got popping off because we were obviously afraid that the world was going to end if it did, because they had thousands of nuclear warheads. We had thousands pointed at each other at all times. If we fired our entire arsenals at each other, then the world ends because of nuclear winter and all that shit. It was, in a way, good for the military-industrial complex to have an enemy that we were constantly fighting without ever fighting.
Yeah.
Because, like, pay us more money for defense, we're going to outspend them, and we're going to drive them bankrupt. That's our strategy. So we need more money to give to more contractors to build more missiles, and that will make you safer, even though we're telling you that you're not safe because there's so many of these missiles out there already. Kind of doesn't make sense, which is my conspiracy theory. I don't know if I came up with it, but I like 50% believe in it, is that the threat of nuclear war, like, we might not have had as many nukes in existence as we were told.
I mean, we have how many now? Like, enough to end the world 78 times over
Many
or
times
something?
over, yeah.
So, I mean, I'm sure we had those during the Cold War.
If we ever, yeah, I don't know. It goes back to that thing of if everybody's scared, then that money machine goes burr.
Yeah, but we were ready.
Yeah,
Like, we weren't bluffing.
we might have been. What about all the close calls that you hear about? I'm fascinated with learning about those.
What's the one where somebody missed a phone call or something?
Well, there were a couple. There was one that happened in the Soviet Union where they thought that we were launching like a full-scale missile attack on Russia. And there was this one guy who was in charge of monitoring the computer, and it flashed up as like missiles inbound.
Yeah.
And he had a set amount of time, maybe 5 minutes or so, to call it in. And he was just like, I'm going to wait. I'm not going to call this in because I think something's fucking up. And it ended up being the reflection of the sun off the top of the atmosphere. That was one of them, where there was a reflection that hit the clouds just wrong, and it set off their systems. There was another one where it was like somewhere in northern Scandinavia, and they were test firing a rocket, and they were supposed to let Russia know about that, but they didn't, and the trajectory of it looked like it was a NATO attack on Russia, and they ended up not attacking us. Then there were a couple other ones in the United States where like a bear was trying to get into one of the nuclear bases I think in Alaska. I don't know, one of the nuclear missile bases, and they thought that they were under attack by like the Russian army or by Russian special operatives, and it ended up just being a bear. And they had like fired up the engines for the B-2 bombers and shit. But yeah, there's a number of close calls. Also, the broken arrows, which is when a nuclear weapon goes missing. There was one plane that went down, I think it broke apart in midair in North Carolina, and it had 2 nukes on it, and one is still buried underneath the ground from where it landed. So it's like there's an allotment of land that you can't go onto right now because it's radioactive. It didn't explode, obviously. There was another one that they found that was hanging in a tree, and almost all the safety devices were deactivated on it from the explosion and the fall. And there was like one single fuse that was still intact that prevented it from exploding and causing just a massive, massive mushroom cloud in North Carolina.
That's good.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it works. Also, there's a shitload of like submarines that have sank with nuclear weapons on board that we can't get. They're just somewhere in the bottom of the ocean. Probably good. It's probably a good thing.
Better than in North Carolina, I guess.
That's true. All right. We got anything else on Operation Gladio or otherwise?
Looks like the results are in.
Oh, results are in. Let's check.
Yep.
Let's check. I'm going to smash refresh. The final results, read receipts versus read receipts. 17,243 votes. 52.5% say read. 47.5% say read. That's close.
It's pretty close.
Yeah. We're a divided nation right now. Any final comments, Big T?
I'm seeing a lot of comments under your thing that says read, but I acknowledge it's syntactically incorrect. No intention of changing.
Yep.
So I think if you took out just the people who acknowledge that it's wrong, not even the people who legitimately think it's read, then red would be the majority.
Yeah.
But it seems like people have been bullied into, or they just like the way it sounds better. I don't know.
But, okay, this person brings up a great point. Outstanding point by HP Sauce at Milano Cookies with Z's. It's left on red, but read receipt. But if it's left on red.
Correct. I hadn't even considered that.
Yeah, that throws a whole new wrinkle in.
Yep.
You would never say he left me on read.
Because you would sound like a dipshit.
Yeah.
Which you would be.
There's so many data points and so many convincing. I don't know what to think.
Wait. Run it back.
You say you get left on red.
Yeah, because it was red.
Yeah. But it's read receipt.
Point Big T.
You know what else I'd be curious to know? I want to know how many of the people who say read say Reese's. Because I'd be willing to bet it's a large percentage.
You think this might be regional?
Wait. Say that part again. I'm sorry, you cut out.
I want to know how many of the people who say read receipts say Reese's. Or even more egregiously, Reese's Pieces.
Yeah, that's absurd.
Hold on. I say Reese's Pieces.
Yeah.
That's Reese's. That's correct.
I'm going to do a follow-up.
It is
poll.
you saying Reese's?
The guy who made the chocolate was Reese. It is Reese's. And they even went further to clarify, making you know that it rhymes with pieces. And there are still people who will say Reese's Pieces.
I'm going to be real. I think I'm one of them.
Pieces isn't even a word.
But it's fun. Neither is like a lot of candy words. It's kind of fun.
she couldn't come up with
Yeah,
one.
no.
No. Neither is a lot of them.
I was about to say, if you say red,
Twix isn't a real word.
are you male or female? But then that wouldn't really solve anything.
Okay.
Because I suspect that the overwhelming majority of answers would be male. Regardless.
In your poll?
In my poll.
In your,
Right.
In my personal
you
poll.
have skewed audience.
Dudes love me.
Twix isn't a word. Twixt is TWIXT, which means between.
Betwixt. But also there's a difference in making up a word like Kit Kat. Pieces is a real word. You know how to, there's a set way to say it.
May I not have childlike whimsy when it comes to my names of candy?
I grant you childlike whimsy.
Yeah.
We should all. Language is all made the fuck up anyway.
Right.
None of it's real.
I'm eating chocolate and peanut butter. Let me say pieces.
I also, Reese's Cups, 10 out of 10. Reese's Pieces, not very good.
Are Reese's Pieces the like the
M&M one.
Skittle,
Yeah.
Skittle vibes? Yeah,
they're
no.
not good.
Reese's Cups, all time
Outstanding.
candy. I think that's my favorite candy of all time.
Especially
actually.
throw them in the fridge for a little bit.
Oh, okay. Have you ever had Reese's cheesecake?
What? Like from Cheesecake Factory?
I think it's at Cheesecake Factory. I'm unsure though, but like
I'm sure it's a
I've had it
cheesecake.
somewhere.
I've had
I don't
Oreo
remember where I had it.
cheesecake.
Reese's cheesecake
Oreo
sounds
cheesecake
like an
is great. Yeah,
interesting.
Reese's cheesecake is unreal.
Probably very good.
Or if you're,
it's like a heart attack on a plate, but it's so good.
if you guys, have you guys ever had Buckeyes, or is that just an Ohio thing?
I have.
I've had them. They're good.
Yeah, those are also very good.
Like when you say Buckeye, I don't even know
So
what
a
it is.
Buckeye is like it's a peanut butter
The
ball,
sticker you get on the helmet for doing things.
Yeah. but
It looks like weed.
it's a peanut butter ball, and with powdered sugar and sometimes little Rice Krispies, and then you dip it in chocolate, so it looks like a Buckeye nut, and you eat that. So it's just more of a ball
I've heard of
version of
that.
Reese's, but they're an Ohio delicacy. I didn't know if they were a nationwide trend.
I never heard of that one.
Very good.
They're delicious.
Never heard of that one.
They're good.
Reese's are so good.
All right,
No, say it your way.
Reese's.
Yeah. Don't live your life.
Yeah, I'm gonna. I don't have Reese's Pieces. Enough to like think about them. Like about my friend. I don't have those. Aren't what I
had them
reach
like
for.
once, and I was like, y'all need to get rid of these and stick to what you do well.
Mm-hmm.
I will say though, sometimes in a movie theater, I will reach for them and put them in the popcorn.
I put Bunch of Crunch in popcorn. It's outstanding.
God, now I'm hungry.
Anything else?
Nah.
All right. Arian, what's this ball breakdown you're going to do?
Oh yeah, so we was talking, and it seems like I think that there's a market for this, right? Women who like ball, who don't know how to ask the right questions to learn ball. And so, yeah, I'm using a woman that's interested, i.e. Maddie. Mac, you more than welcome if you wanna take ball with Arian 101.
I would love to.
So what we're gonna do is, and I had a few women reach out to me actually. It was like, oh my God, I've been a stoolie, or hey, I was listening. This would actually be a great idea. There's a few women that reached out, a few Macrodosian
I
ladies.
had people reaching out to me, being like, "This is actually a really good idea."
Yeah, and I think I think this could be a cool little series. Just the basics of ball. You know what I'm saying? For women who want to know football, so that they can talk that shit, and it will advance it. We'll start with the very basics, and we'll get you watching ball in a different way. We'll get you understanding it on a level where you can talk to your significant other, or you just want to stun on your male friends.
Yes.
We'll get you
I
there.
want my girls to be stunting,
Yeah.
and the boys if they don't know ball.
Become a ball.
Yeah,
nerd.
I mean,
Yeah.
because I think there's a lot of dudes that be faking the funk out there too.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
I agree.
Quite frankly, I think this is going to be ball 101, the introduction to really understanding the game that we all love.
Yeah,
It'll be
we're
fun.
gonna get our girls stunting.
Yeah, got to.
Do we start at like
Stun on
square
them.
one? Like, do we start with like this is a first down,
the
this is a
basics.
second down, this is a third down?
Yeah, we gonna start. We gonna start fresh for women who are, and like I said, for men too. But the target audience is women. But we're gonna start with the basics of understanding football, and that class is probably gonna be 30 minutes to 45 minutes. Basics of understanding football, and we'll get slowly but surely we'll start getting you to understand football from a schematic point of view, strategic point of view. It'll be fun.
I'm excited.
It'll be fun.
And I think maybe if this goes on a while as a final exam, Mad Dog has
Okay.
to script a drive.
That would be at the end of
Right. Yeah.
course.
No,
My
that's a
final.
while, but that's the final exam.
Yeah. That would be at the end of the course, which I would put 80% of fellas couldn't do that
Wait,
shit.
what is it? Like, I would have to pick plays.
Yeah.
We could do this. You pick the play, I'll pick the defense.
I was gonna say, I feel like
and
I
then
need a
you have to
defense.
tell me what the best play in this position would be.
I feel like this is just me playing a paper
And
version
then
of Madden.
we could run it on NCAA.
Yeah. Like, I feel like I have to run it in real time.
We could run her. We could run her
Yeah.
drive script.
Yeah, with
See-
whatever
and see-
defense
see how
you
she
pick.
does.
I do feel like
Yeah.
I need to actually take notes, and like I need to really lock in.
You're going to class.
Yeah,
buddy.
I know.
You're going to class.
Like, I'm gonna get a notebook. Like, because I have to like learn it.
I'm gonna create a curriculum. This is gonna be
Okay.
fun.
I'm excited.
It's gonna
I
be
was
dope.
also explaining this idea to someone last night, and I was talking to them about it. I was like, oh yeah, like it is crazy to me that I'm just like some random girl getting football 101 like lessons from one of the best running backs of all time. Like I should
in my generation. We'll say in my generation.
let me give you your flowers.
I don't want big
I
T,
wasn't
you
gonna
know
say
what I mean?
it. I wasn't gonna say it.
He's quick with the fact checks.
I
and
know.
all that.
No. Very good career.
Yeah. But like I should not have the access that I
Barring
do.
injury, I would have been big T.
Yeah.
I believe you.
Yeah, like I should not have
Yeah.
the access that I do to this level of ball knowledge, and I have to take it extremely seriously that I do. I have been blessed with ball knowledge, and I must use it to my highest advantage.
I think this could be a good thing just for women and especially like women Barstool fans because there's a lot of them out there.
Yeah, I got to figure out how to get this to
Who
the women because not a
do
ton over
your
here.
rounds with the major players in Barstool. It could be a whole thing. You can even invite them with the Kelly Keegs or whoever.
girl
You know what I'm saying? Like
Keegs.
invite the women of Barstool.
We should have the girls.
to take the class.
Kate,
That'd be
Megan,
dope.
Megan knows ball, but like Kate, the young girls like Hannah and them. Yeah, yeah. We can get girls going, and then like we'll post it on the girl TikToks.
There you go.
Okay.
And then I really get there's a market for it because I know there's a bunch of women who watch football because of
Especially because of Taylor Swift.
and who are into it. They're into football, but probably just don't know what questions to ask, or if they do know what questions to ask, it's not a easy sport to understand if you're just getting into it. It's difficult because if I watch baseball, that's a hard sport to understand. If you throw a ball, you hit it, not that hard, but there's so much more that goes into it that you end up appreciating once you kind of start understanding the nuances of what's going on.
Yeah, I think also the Taylor Swift spike people want to know.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, I like this. I'm excited. We need to figure out like each class, like what we're gonna break down.
Oh, that's on the teacher. That's on me.
Okay, that's on you.
You just taking the class. I gotta create the curriculum.
Okay, cool. Okay, I'm excited for this.
I love that.
I can't wait to know ball.
Get you a copy of all 22 tape.
Totally.
You gonna take the class, PFT, or you
I know
good?
ball. Ask me anything.
So you could just pop in.
Yeah, can you be like a guest lecturer
and win the test?
I'll make you dumber if I lecture.
No, I think you know ball pretty
I know
well.
a little bit of ball. Who do you like tonight?
Yeah.
And by tonight, I mean Thursday. Commanders,
Who plays?
Eagles.
Oh, the Eagles gone.
Where is that game?
It's in Philly.
They're one of the better teams in the league.
So are the Commanders.
Matter of fact, I got a Super Bowl. If you was to do your Super Bowl prediction right now, who would you have?
I think I'm going to go with... Put me on the spot.
I'll do mine while you think. I think it's gonna be Chiefs Eagles.
Okay.
Again?
Run it back.
Really?
I think
Yeah.
it's going to be Ravens and the Lions.
Whoa.
I don't hate
like
that
that
at
a
all,
lot.
actually. Yeah. If it's definitely gonna be between Baltimore and KC for sure. In the AFC.
We're about to find out. The Bills play the
Yep.
Chiefs this weekend. The Taylor game.
They do for a loss though. What are they,
The
9-0?
Oh, the Chiefs?
They're playing with fire.
Yeah.
But they're also winning these games where they play with fire because they're very, very good. And they do a lot of small things.
Yeah.
Things really good.
A saying in the league is like, you got to know how to close out and win close games. You got to find a way to win, and they're finding ways to win. And when you're finding ways to win off of 2 back-to-back championships, that's a scary deal, man.
Yeah.
I think Kareem Hunt has given him a huge boost. And I don't know how the fuck the NFL allowed somehow, some way DeAndre Hopkins to get on the Chiefs. That shit,
For nothing.
bruh,
It's
that
stupid.
that is going to be an integral part of their run. And I don't know how they let that happen.
Yeah. It always felt like he was just kind of staying in shape on the Titans.
They don't have a team around him.
Yeah, the Titans.
And so it was like,
The Titans do this with wide receivers. They usually don't go anywhere after they're on the Titans, but if you look at their history, Randy Moss at the end of his career
Julio Jones.
was a Titan. Julio Jones, he
Taylor
was a
Lewan.
Titan. Well, he was also drafted,
Oh, right.
And not a receiver.
not a receiver.
Oh.
But they've got Hopkins.
Take those classes. Go to school, kids.
Yeah. Open the schools.
To a lesser extent, you had Eric Decker. I think Andre Johnson. He was on the Titans too at the end.
yes, he
Yeah.
was. Yeah.
They collect old dominant receivers.
Try to get one
But
more year.
he
out
kind
of
of
him.
he's like 31, isn't he? He's not that old.
I don't know how old D Hop is.
He's got to be older
I think
than
he's
that,
older.
right?
He's like 31. No, he came in the league at 20, bro.
32.
Wow.
32. Okay, yeah. So he was a young boy when he came in. He was my young
we
boy.
act like he's this 36-year-old receiver.
He's not. He still got some years left. I think he just needed a quarterback
Still got those hands.
and a run game. And then I think Andy Reid may be top 2 play callers all time.
Yeah, he's one of the best coaches of all time. If he coaches for another 5 years, 6 years, he could pass Belichick.
You know who is in the conversation of one of the greatest coaches of all time? Mike Tomlin.
Yeah.
Mike Tomlin's in that conversation, dog.
Yeah. He should be. He should be. But you don't put any respect on the Commanders. That's okay.
No, I
against the
just
world.
think they're gonna lose. I think they have a good team. I think they're a few years away from being like a legit contender.
I think they're a year away.
Could be. I think they need some. I think they can shore up their secondary for sure.
Yeah, I mean, kind of who we are is we beat the fuck out of bad teams, and sometimes we barely beat bad teams. But we beat bad teams, and we haven't had a whole lot of success against good teams. Although we did destroy the Cardinals, and the Cardinals, they might be a good team. We don't know. But yeah, so when you look on paper at the roster, there's some glaring gaps there, and the Eagles don't have those gaps. So
Eagles look like one of the more solid teams on all sides of the ball to me.
Yeah.
Very, very good squad, and I'm excited to see their run later in the year.
Yeah.
When real football is played.
But the fact that the Commanders have 7 wins, that's already a win for the season.
I didn't pin that. I'm not a super watcher of the Commanders, but I didn't think that they were going to.
There's really been no reason to be a super watch of the Commanders until very recently. So I don't.
Shout out to you for sticking with your squad, man.
Have to. I can't abandon them. Although Dan Snyder did take away all my love and like excitement for the team for a considerable amount of time.
Hey, you want to funnier things? With your man's Big Cat. What's her name? The new quarterback,
Caleb.
Yeah, and he texted the punter when he got drafted and said he won't be punting that much this year.
Yeah,
and the punter is like neck and neck with the offense for who has more yards this season.
That's fucked up, dog. It's always like that, dog. Like, I love confidence of rookies, and I get it. Like, you have to have that bravado, but like, it's just a different level of competition. Like, you're not playing against cats who, gonna have an office job next year.
Yeah.
Like, this is what they do. Like, respect that.
Who's punted the most
in the NFL this year? I don't know.
They up there.
Maybe the Titans.
Probably.
They're probably up there.
It's Googleable, no?
I'd say maybe the Raiders too, because they've punted a few times where they definitely should not have punted.
The Raiders punter. Oh, that's average. Hang on.
Attempts.
Punts. The most punts are Corey Bajorquez of the Browns and Bryce Behringer of the Patriots.
Oh.
Both with 50.
Okay. And where's Torrey Taylor on that list?
Torrey Taylor is tied for 6th with 45.
All right. So not far off. Where's Tress Way on that list?
He is 29th.
Pretty good.
With 25 punts.
Pretty good. All right. Well, that does it for Macrodosing. We will see you guys next week. Next Tuesday. And then Tuesday, isn't it? And then me and Big T taking a little trip. It should be fun.
Fun trip.
Mm-hmm.
Where y'all going?
Secret location.
Where y'all going?
Secret location on Tuesday.
Y'all going to a secret location on Tuesday?
We are going to a secret location on Tuesday. And I won't be volunteering any more information than that.
Okay. Going to Tennessee. Gotcha.
All right. We'll see you then. Love you guys.